Is Felix Felicis a placebo?
This is right up Danny's alley.
I mean, you know why I asked that too, right? Because why is Ron so good at Quidditch? Have you guys
Everything
seen...
happened though, also, right?
Yeah.
Was the weather or something with the weather?
Yep.
And then Malfoy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he
Yeah.
was really good.
And like, it was mentioned by multiple people, something about luck. Like the new announcer said it too.
So lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I asked is because I
don't
think
think so, but
one of the it's not the best sports movie, but it teaches the best sports lesson of all time, which is Space Jam.
Nice.
And in the movie Space Jam, all the tunes, there's one scene where they're dejected at halftime because the Monstars are crushing them.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, Bugs Bunny, he tapes on this little thing that says MJ Secret Stuff. And he fakes like he drinks it, and it's just water. No one knows it's water, but he drinks MJ's secret stuff.
This.
And then in the locker room, he it's a great scene. Like he sprouts muscles, and he gets huge and just jacked.
I do remember
and then
that part.
all the cartoons drink this MJ secret stuff, and they all think that they have what MJ has, and they're able to
They're
crush
good,
the Monstars
yeah.
after. Is Liquid Luck just like MJ's secret stuff, Jordan's secret stuff?
I don't think so.
I don't
But maybe
either.
you can pretend it.
But maybe.
Obviously.
But there
'Cause-
is a placebo involved.
And it would only work if people actually believed it.
Yeah.
So you would actually have to, But then the weird part is,
You're making
would
a
people
potion.
actually get... You're not really getting poisoned then. It's all in your head of just being arrogant if you over consume.
Or no, the potion itself could still be toxic because you're still drinking a potion.
Oh,
but the
yeah,
potion
it's still
could
a
not do
thing.
a thing.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. This guy just threw a bunch of ingredients in something and then created this lore around this thing where if you drink it, it gives you the best day ever. So there's so much lore around it that when you drink it,
I see.
in your mind you think that it's the best day, but it's just like you just go around noticing the great things that happened to you that day.
Oof.
We should do that every day.
So
I know,
true.
right?
That's like the end of About Time.
Every podcast we
Yep.
look it up. Great movie, everyone.
I did watch it. But
It is a really good movie.
Yep. Movie night, but I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Just because he realized at the end, even his power to go back in time, but then
He's not
he's like,
gonna
oh wait,
use
I don't
his
need this. So he would go through every day, and then he would do it again, and just try to enjoy everything. And then it kind of shows the contrast of like if you take the time to enjoy it and look for the good things. But could that be Felix Felicis? Maybe. A lot of people tell me that I'm lucky. So sometimes that's how I feel, where I'm like, I don't think of myself as lucky. But people say things like, that would only happen to you. And I think it's because I like the movie Yes Man and I say yes to everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the same idea of like, is that being lucky, or do I just do weird random things and say yes to a lot of stuff people would usually say no to? Maybe. But with Felix Felicis, if you're looking for the good stuff and you're confident, could be. I like to think it has some power,
Yeah, right?
but maybe not.
But still, it would have power if it was just like a normal thing. It's just
It
the
is
power of the mind.
You're right. That is power.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it just doesn't have that like realness.
Mine is powerful.
Yeah.
It's crazy how powerful.
What? How powerful placebo is?
No, your mind.
Mind.
Oh, the mind.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess
yeah.
that's the same kind of thing.
And there's one of my other proofs for this idea was Snape has never mentioned once liquid luck. If he's a good potions master, isn't this one of the first thing you like? Not that Snape is dazzling his students.
But he's not that personality either.
Well, he's not that personality, but is it because maybe he studied potions for so long that he knows that this isn't like a real potion? Slughorn, maybe there's like differing opinions in it. Does Slughorn actually
but this
think it's
is
real
so
too?
up Slughorn's alley versus
exactly.
Snape. So maybe you don't
That's
study
true.
something that you're not into.
Yeah.
And maybe Snape was doing it and saying, this doesn't really work. I'm not lucky, because he never could look at things with a good attitude. But Slughorn is like, oh my goodness, what a great day I just had.
Yeah.
All the people I met today.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's a believer.
A Slughorn party kind of sounds fun.
So true.
Just like bumping into the Weird Sisters, you know. seeing a vampire.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I like that it includes all the generations.
Yeah,
so
right?
random.
Yeah.
It's great.
I wonder if Edward was there.
He definitely was. They should have thrown a little cameo of that in at one of his
so
parties.
good.
Actually, Cedric coming back from the dead, but playing Edward,
Whoa.
right? Yeah. Oh, that would
old
be
Edward
great.
Cullen.
That would be kind of funny.
Anyway, we'll get into this more, but welcome to the podcast. I'm John,
Jen.
Danny?
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Hey everyone, this audio is going to sound terrible for a number of different reasons. So I'm out of the country right now and I'm editing this podcast in my hotel room. And my phone mic didn't work, my earphone microphone didn't work, so I'm recording this on my computer mic, which probably sounds terrible. So I apologize. My room is really echoey too, so it probably sounds awful. I'm going to check it in a second. But I just wanted to come out here very quick. I'm not going to give the plug for everything, but just go follow us on all social media, on subreddit, on our Instagram, on Twitter, on our Gmail, on our website, on Patreon. Go become a member on YouTube. You could become a hot tamale on YouTube. We want to thank you for listening to this podcast because it means the world to us. Our following and our increasing and our fans just keep getting more and more. And you guys are truly the best. It makes me so happy to do this podcast, and I love you guys so much. It's so much fun talking to you guys and interacting with you guys on Reddit and on Instagram and on everything else that we have. So we have merch coming out soon. I've always plugged that, and I said we have it coming out soon. I'm still hoping that it's gonna come out soon, but have a enjoyable time listening to this podcast. Again, as a nerd who loves Harry Potter, listening to Danny and Jen give their theories are the height of entertainment. It is so enjoyable to act like we're reading this for the first time. So enjoy this little journey. We're on the Felix Felicis chapter 14. Did we read 14, 15, and 16?
I can confirm the correct chapters were consumed.
I was like terrified that I was
this
going to
afternoon.
Well, also because I felt like I read it, the first chapter, like a week ago.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like,
Yeah,
did
yep.
we record it or did I just read it?
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, I think I'm off. I think I have one more to go.
But someone give me a quick summary of Felix Felicis, this chapter.
I think it's gonna be
Take it.
me.
Great.
Sorry, I'm like still so phlegmy. They have Quidditch practices where Ron is performing poorly. So the day of the game, Harry pretends to give him the lucky potion and Ron plays great. Gryffindor wins the game. There's drama between Hermione and Ron, and Harry is realizing he may have feelings for Ginny.
Well.
Dun, dun, dun.
It says something large and scaly erupted in his stomach. We'll talk about that. But one of the first lines is this. But I still don't get why Dumbledore is showing you all this. I mean, it's really interesting and everything, but what's the point? Dunno, said Harry, inserting a gum shield. But he says it's all important, and it'll help me survive. Again, I asked this before, but why is Dumbledore showing him all this? All these memories.
Oh, I'm like, wait, I forgot.
Yeah. And
That
is
was
this
a week ago.
is this going to be the entirety of what their lessons are? Is it just going to be going through memories? Is there going to be anything else included?
But knowledge is power, right?
But what kind of knowledge are they after? Why are these memories so important? Hermione keeps saying it's to find his weakness. Is that really what it is?
Or maybe there's a loophole in his story too. Ancient magic can be pulled.
Ancient magic.
How long was that?
Man, that was like a new record.
Who got it?
Did you see me smile before I said it?
Yeah. We really need a drinking game. One of our listeners, please
like
create
Bravo.
bingo.
Yes.
A bingo board of all what we
Oh,
need to say. And
man.
if we say it, if you get bingo, we all have to drink.
Or we have a
That's
word
great.
for the night. That's how they do on Bravo. And they say, if we say this word,
Oh, really?
um,
Shots.
you take whatever you want to take. And the people don't know it. They're like, you would pick the word, we don't know the word, and we'll just talk, and
That's
then
kind of cool.
the audience would
That's fun. I like that. We'll do that. We'll come up with a word beforehand. But again, why do you think Dumbledore is it ancient magic?
I don't know. I feel like I think Dumbledore is going to do a mission with Harry at the end or closer to the end of the book where the information is needed and it'll be like, all right, cool. Now let's like actually solve the thing. But I'm still confused because Dumbledore always seems to know what's going on. Is that because he's one step ahead of Harry and he just, it hits him quicker? Like, when we were back with Ogden and, you know, seeing the Slytherin heirs and Parseltongue, Harry, like, it took a second. Dumbledore knew immediately. That kind of stuff is just interesting because I still can't tell. Is Dumbledore setting up Harry and trying to be like coaxing him to learn this stuff, setting him up to like solve this mystery in the future? Or is it like they're actually working through it together?
Is this correlated with where he's going, with where Dumbledore is going? Is it all correlated to like, is he going and collecting memories? What is Dumbledore doing when he's going other places?
That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know.
I can't believe the Ministry doesn't know.
Know what
where Dumbledore's
doing?
going. Yeah. Just feels weird. What could he be doing?
It feels good though.
Oh yeah, it feels great. Although now there's another divide between us and the Ministry. I was like, oh, I thought we were going to be a team. Nope. That just really strengthened that divide.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, yep, we hate the Ministry again. Great.
But also could it just be something with like the memory? I felt like when Voldemort escaped Harry when we were in the Ministry of Magic, it was like thoughts that Harry had. And it was like loving thoughts. And he's like, ew, get me out of here. I can't take over your body. So I don't know if that has something to do with his then seeing his childhood and upbringing and past, if that would affect Voldemort when he goes to try to attack him. Maybe the memories and mind feelings that come with that could expel.
You know what that sounds a lot like?
What?
Ancient magic.
Yes.
It really does though. Like there's
Oh, now you're not making fun of me?
But like there's deeper forms of magic in love, in loneliness, and any of those kind of things, and it's pulling those things up. So maybe that's kind of what they're after and what they're going for. Dumbledore is trying to kind of almost be the first one to like put that stuff into words and spells and actually be able to like use it.
I wonder too, though. I have a feeling somehow the potions, like, is there a potion that now, because he has all his information, he can create to use against Voldemort? Now he has the Half-Blood Prince, all those potions. I don't know who that is still, but it seems like it's setting up for something.
Yeah, it's weird that Dumbledore has to be gone for so long. But the potion thing could be cool because ingredients are really hard to get. You might have to search hard for certain things.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, I like that too.
Like,
I didn't even know.
I don't know.
You said I know.
No, but I don't know. It's just like, it's a weird one. Trying to find things for ingredients. It feels like it's not quite enough. But maybe finding people for getting their memories. Like if these people are hiding from Voldemort and something in their head could help expose Voldemort's weaknesses, then they're probably very tough to find.
Or is he still trying to collect people for their side? That's what I thought too.
Yeah, you're right. That's another good thought. Who else is left? Do we know of anyone in particular? The vampires?
I thought there was, because what's his name?
Lupin is,
yeah. So like in that, you know, we know the giants have their own little community. Werewolves.
That werewolf.
We know there are vampires and goblins.
Is Dumbledore going after in Fury?
Ooh.
Probably not.
The Witch King?
But,
all right. Guys, you know what that is?
Are you trying to one-up us? It's not working.
I'm like, do I even have to guess? Like, it's not hard, right?
I don't even know what we said.
Lord of the Rings.
I
thought Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I thought it was like an Urban Dictionary thing.
You went a different direction.
Yep, classic.
No, it's not classic. It's just with you guys.
Let's pivot and come back to this in a bit. But let's talk about some of the other stuff in this chapter because there's a lot. There's a lot in the next chapter too about Ron and Hermione and all this stuff. But this is a line. Slug Club, repeated Ron with a sneer worthy of Malfoy. It's pathetic. Well, I hope you enjoy your party. Why don't you try getting off with McLagan? Then Slughorn can make you King and Queen Slug. We're allowed to bring guests, said Hermione, who for some reason had turned a bright, boiling scarlet. And I was going to ask you to come, but if you think it's stupid, then I won't bother. Is Ron being stupid?
Yep.
I think they both are.
Why
Okay.
is she being stupid?
Well,
She's
I'm a little
literally
bit-
asking him.
I'm a little bit projecting the way she acted later.
Yeah, which is one of my next questions.
Yeah, but at this point, I think I don't know. Did Ron start it? I think he did.
He did start it.
But also, I'm just thinking Ron is already excluded, and they keep bringing up Slug Club,
but
and
just
he
let
feels
her
jealous
finish
every
her
time.
sentence, and she would have.
It's true.
I have to admit, Harry is doing a really good job making Ron feel included because he's scheduling practice during Slug Club things. You haven't seen
Yep.
Hermione do that to a point yet. I think Ron is just oblivious to a lot of stuff, so he doesn't really notice what
Yes.
Harry's doing. Because if Hermione was doing something, I think he would notice that a little bit more because he has a crush on her.
He
Yep.
doesn't know he has a crush on her. Yeah.
Exactly. I think he does.
He must.
I think he kind of knows.
Do you think he
I don't know,
realizes
you guys
in
are
this?
guys, so maybe you know.
Yeah. It's true.
Clueless. No.
Like, I think he knows, but
I think he's at the same point as Harry.
Yep.
Something large and scaly is erupting in his stomach.
That is not how I would ever describe that.
No, that was a weird description.
I was
It
like,
was.
oh, what did you type in synonyms for this butterfly feeling? And that's what I came up with. Dragon feelings. It's masculine instead of
There you go,
butterfly.
yeah.
Right.
a dragon.
I have to admit there is something different with Harry, how Harry's feeling. I don't think it's the same with Ron, but with Harry it's a mix of jealousy. So I don't think butterflies explains it very adequately either, because he wants to kill Dean for all intents and purposes.
Right.
Literally murder this man. So it's not
Because
quite butterflies.
he has his girl.
Yeah. And is Harry an idiot in this chapter for interrupting their communication session? I feel like Ron and Hermione were about to hash it out, and they were
reach
like,
a conclusion.
yeah. And then all of a sudden, Harry kind of, what does he do in this chapter? I forgot. I think like something happens. The bowl breaks or something like that, and
Oh, yeah.
it kind of catches them back.
Yeah, the
hit
bowl shattered.
Yeah. He did a quick reparo, and then
It was right before they were about to have a breakthrough. I feel like.
yeah, because Ron said it so quiet. No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. He
Oh,
said
I
it.
know. That, like,
That's
broke
so
my heart
cute.
when he
He's like
said that.
he like
No.
it felt like he like got humbled right there, and he's like,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't. I don't want that. Like he was like feeling sad and like, oh, I felt so close.
I felt like he was actually being vulnerable. Like you said, that could have been
Yeah.
their breakthrough.
Yeah, I know. Like that was one little moment where you got to Ron, where like you see his potential,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden Harry ruins it, and then not necessarily ruins it, but
It kind of does, because then the way it gets out of that is then Hermione's like, hand that over, Harry, and like starts puncturing the pods and going through the whole thing, and then they got off that.
yep, I know.
Yeah, but then Ron could have brought it up again.
Either
I know
one of
for
them
sure.
could have, yeah, definitely.
Well, it was in Ron's court.
But Harry interrupted what
Yeah.
was
What, you just
right
rolled
there.
your eyes at
No,
me?
I agree with you, but I do think it's more complicated than just being in Ron's court.
So true.
I think, and this is it's kind of throwing more shade on Ron. I think Ron is so immature that Hermione should know how immature he is, and Hermione should know that she needs to be the one that brings this up because of Ron's immaturity. They've been
But
friends for so long.
This is one section that is very vulnerable.
Agreed.
So
for
even
sure.
if you know that they're very immature, you still are afraid to let that all out.
But that's
and
why
you
they're
have
both-
friendship on the line.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why they're both so hurt though, because they were being vulnerable to a small extent, and then they recoiled from each other.
Yeah, but then
and
Ron
it-
could have just said like, "Yeah, Hermione, what you just asked, I want to go with you."
he doesn't have that confidence.
But he did say, no, I wouldn't. So there's like that change in tone.
Right.
He
I
says,
know,
wait,
and then he could have confirmed
were you gonna
it
ask me?
again.
He doesn't have the confidence
know?
to say that outright, and it's
Yep.
tough. It's a tough thing
What
to
the
It
heck?
is.
completely admit
I
you have
don't. It
feelings
doesn't
on one of
even
your.
make sense to me.
what?
Does it make sense to you?
I'm
Like
trying to
why he
remember the
wouldn't
whole
say
thing.
something?
So I'm like,
Yeah, because
Why-
like they're close friends and he's always picking on her and stuff. And I know that this is like a different, more vulnerable thing, but he could have just like then went into it.
do you
and
guys
been
think Hermione heard him say no? I wouldn't.
No, I don't think she heard that, to be honest.
I know, so
Very
that's-
quiet
and then
voice.
that-
She
'cause,
maybe
like,
didn't hear.
Yeah,
I
because
thought
then
she
that's
did
why
hear.
she got flustered and she turned like
Maybe, yeah.
a color. So that's why with her face reaction, I would have thought even a friend would have been like, "Oh wait, what were you saying?" Like, I don't know. Like to reiterate
Yeah.
it, to
Yeah.
reaffirm what they were saying is like, no, like I don't know. I would do that for a friend too. Like if they looked flustered or like upset with the reaction of the conversation.
We always do this, but we're approaching this from a bunch of 30-year-olds perspectives.
Yep.
You're like,
Oh,
okay, let's
true.
sit down and talk about this. In
All
high
right.
school, it is very,
Every time
very
you
different.
remind us
Mhm.
that we're reading a book. Like high school.
No, I think we just gotta have to cut them a little more slack too sometimes, which I'm guilty of not doing because you want them to be mature. Same thing with Harry. Ron, he's like the immature guy and you love him for that. But at this point, you're like, can you just mature up a little bit? But what are they right now? They're juniors in high school for us Americans. Like,
Yeah,
no
but
junior
I
in high
remember
school has that
juniors in
maturity.
high school
Yep.
like a couple years ago.
I know.
They have big crushes. They let them know.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes,
You know I'm talking
No, yeah, I know you're talking about, but sometimes you don't. Especially if it's like someone that
Well,
you've
that
known
wasn't
for
me.
a
I
long
guess I
time.
could say
Mm-hmm.
I kept it bottled up.
I was gonna say I bottled everything up.
Yeah,
Nobody knew anything.
But when you're even your close friends, huh? I would.
I mean, my
Especially-
close,
yeah.
but like if they
I
ever
would
dared
tell my
tell
close-
anyone, I would have murdered them.
Actually, I was telling you
Exactly.
that recently.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like, yeah,
I
would
don't
not-
remember, but I'm sure you were. I think also Harry wasn't ready for them to get together, so it wasn't intentional sabotage or anything. But I think he's talking through it in his own head about what would happen if Ron and Hermione started going
Yeah,
out
for sure.
together. And so even Harry could have set them up. If he knew that it was a good idea, he could have said, wait, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You guys keep talking
Right.
about the slug club and stuff. But he didn't even know what to do. So then him as being kind of the group leader a little bit, if he's moving on and whatever, then there's too many distractions. So they just didn't
Yeah.
get back into the
And
discussion.
there was like a bit of selfishness going on with this whole thing too. Like,
Yeah.
Harry doesn't want his friendship to ruin because it could be potentially friendship ruining, and you don't want that thing to end. So he's being a little selfish and not letting them communicate and thinking of himself here. It's tough. But this is what Harry is described as. When Harry pushed open the tapestry to take the usual shortcut up to Gryffindor Tower, however, they found themselves looking at Dean and Ginny, who were locked in a close embrace and kissing fiercely as if glued together. It was as though something large and scaly erupted into Harry's stomach, clawing at his insides. Hot blood seemed to flood his brain, so that all thought was extinguished, replaced by a savage urge to jinx Dean into a jelly. Wow, that is a tongue twister. And then we have this one. "You go," said Ginny. "I want a word with my dear brother." Dean left, looking as though he was not sorry to depart the scene. "Right," said Ginny, tossing her red hair out of her
Oh,
face
this
and
is-
glaring at Ron. "Let's get this straight once and for all. It's none of your business who I go out with or what I do with them, Ron." "Yeah, it is," said Ron, just as angrily. "Do you think I want people saying my sister's a..." "Oh, what?" shouted Ginny, drawing her wand. "Oh, what exactly?" "He doesn't mean anything, Ginny," said Harry automatically, though the monster was roaring its approval of Ron's words. What was Ron going to call her?
Probably something British that sounds funny but is mean. I don't know. I'm like, it wouldn't have been nice, but
What do you think of this whole interaction too? What do you think of Ron and Ginny's interaction?
I think it makes sense, and I think it was kind of cute, and it was interesting. I think it made their relationship more complicated,
Yeah.
in a good way. Where I was like,
That's what siblings are.
but it almost felt like the discussion, like Ginny kind of wanted the attention. And I don't know if she wanted it from Ron or from Harry or both, but I'm like, maybe as the baby, she never got scolded and she wanted a little bit of a scolding because it comes from love. And Ron has been feeling these things for a while. He gets a chance to let it out. But it did say this is their shortcut they always take, right? So I think Ginny probably always took this too. She knew they were coming this way.
Yeah.
That was not a surprise. So
She goes, been kissing
Yeah.
Pigwidgeon, have you? Or have you got a picture of Auntie
Gosh,
Muriel
that was
stashed under your pillow?
mean, though.
Auntie
know.
And
Muriel.
funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was so mean, but it was so funny. Like in the book, you're laughing hysterically, and you're like, "Ooh, this was kind of mean."
And it depends how sensitive of a subject it is. Because if Ron could take it well and laugh,
Obviously.
no big deal. It didn't feel like he was ready for this though.
I know.
Not at all.
Too mean. That's what I wrote in my margin.
And there's all sorts of notes too that like when your friend is on the edge right here, like when your friend is just testy or in a moment of weirdness, even when in the classroom, what was it? Ron turned his eyebrows a different color or something like that. And or he gave himself a mustache, a handlebar mustache, or whatever it was. And everyone dies laughing. And Ron then makes fun of Hermione for putting her hand up. And later Harry's like, Ron, that was mean to do that. Everyone was laughing. That was a hilarious thing that happened to you. Like, just laugh along with it. And Ron normally probably would have laughed along with it, but he's in a little bit of a testy mood right here because things are on the line. So
Yep.
I feel like they don't know how to navigate through those things because this is some of the
What
first
do they
times they're
call it
experiencing
too?
it.
Something with an S, right? Snarking or something?
Oh, snogging.
Snogging.
Yeah,
Snog.
snogging.
There we-
Snarking.
I like it.
It's because I don't actually see the words. I only hear them.
Yeah, they're all snogging.
I don't know. I thought Ginny was like a little bit overboard. I concluded that she's getting her period and took it out on Ron.
Probably
the
true.
only note that you wrote in there?
Pretty much.
On her period.
Seems
Well,
accurate.
it just felt
actually.
like very direct toward Ron. I was like, what
It
does she
was
have
very
against him?
direct. But it was weird then that she did bring up Harry's snogging Cho Chang and Ginny,
Hermione.
Hermione Victor Crumb.
Yeah.
You go
And I was
below
like,
the belt
yeah.
when you're annoyed with someone.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder if
Sometimes.
that bothered
Yeah.
her, the Cho Chang thing.
Ooh, yeah. That was the first one she mentioned. So,
Yeah, I'm like, it feels like that maybe was part of this.
yeah. Interesting. That's a
Yeah,
good
but they're
little
always
side.
saying like, "Who are you dating now?" Like, imagine all your older brothers constantly talking about guys that you're dating or interested in.
But I
For
feel like she
sure.
would have been okay with Fred and George.
But right now,
Saying
I don't
it.
know because it's been like a theme. I don't know what the
Yeah,
fan.
Like
that is
what?
actually
Like in the
interesting.
moment?
No, like in this moment, she has had like past years of her brothers making fun of her, and maybe just like everything just
Yeah.
exploded right now.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
That
here
makes
we go
sense.
again. Ron, the one that doesn't kiss anyone, is telling me who I need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be with. Yeah, right. Let me tell you something. And then goes.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Oh, no, that makes sense because I would do the same thing.
You have a problem with who I'm dating? Why?
Yeah.
You don't even know how to date.
Right.
Oh,
There's a
I
lot
just
of
turned into
yeah.
Ginny.
There's a lot of complex emotions. That's why Ginny's like a hot tamale in this chapter, but at the same point, she's a little mean.
Yeah, she
Everyone is mean
Yeah.
to each other.
Yeah.
Except for Hermione. You almost just feel actually no, she was mean too.
Yep.
Harry was
Asking
left
out the person that was
Yeah.
going to hurt him the most.
Harry was left pondering the lengths with which women would go
Yeah,
for jealousy, or what was the line? I have it
Yeah,
written
yeah,
down somewhere. It's like everyone is just being mean to each other. Bad communication. This is just like high school.
It is high school.
Or some family dynamics.
What?
Nothing. You'll hear it.
Here's another line. They hurried up the stairs and along the 7th floor corridor. "Oi, out of the way!" Ron barked at a small girl who jumped up in fright and dropped a bottle of toad spawn. Poor girl. Harry hardly noticed the sound of shattering glass. He felt disoriented, dizzy. Being struck by a lightning bolt must be something like this. It's just because she's Ron's sister, he told himself. You didn't like seeing her kiss Dean because she's Ron's sister. It's clear that Harry loves Ginny here, right? Do you think that they're going to end up together? And do you think that Ron and Hermione are going to end up together? Or do you think Ron and Lavender are going to end up together? Let's do a little matchmaking here.
No, but I feel like I kind of know this.
I feel
Maybe.
like
Maybe I don't.
the Harry Luna stuff was cute.
Yeah, that was so
By the time that came
lovely.
around, I was like, I kind of like this.
I know.
I don't like Ginny right now. She's a little too mean. But if she gets a little nicer, we see a sweeter side, it could work. But they're very similar. So maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. Man, we'll see. But Ron and Hermione? Yeah. Full sport.
I think Harry needs someone like Ginny, though.
Why?
Yeah, in what way?
Because I feel like she's a little bit more like confident in her decisions and she just goes for it. And Harry is stubborn and doesn't like to listen to anyone. So I feel like she can get through to that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Maybe I'm being super far-fetched.
No, I think
It just feels like they're both such big personalities. But yeah, maybe it would work. But only if she gets nicer.
Teach her a few lessons.
Yeah.
All right, pivoting to Quidditch. It seemed as though Gryffindor could do no wrong. Again and again they scored. And again at the other end of the pitch, Ron saved goals with apparent ease. He was actually smiling now. And when the crowd greeted a particularly good save with a rousing chorus of the old favorite, Weasley is our king, he pretended to conduct them from on high. What was your favorite moment in maybe your sporting career or like any other like dance or whatever it was or music that made you feel the way that Ron's feeling? Where you were just on cloud 9 from something that you had experienced?
What year was that? I think I was a junior. It was when I won the title of Miss Dance of North America. I didn't even realize there was like a whole banquet.
Subtle little name drop there.
Oh.
I know, I didn't know that about
You
you.
just won the, like Miss America or whatever it was.
I mean, well, whatever. It was like it was a week-long competition because it was the nationals. And so I was performing my solo and I didn't realize that I was competing for the title. I was just like, oh, I'm just doing my solo, whatever. Again, that thing where I like didn't try. And so we had a banquet and they were like going through like third runner up, second runner up, first runner up. And then when they announced the winner, it was me. And I was like, what? I had no idea. And I was like, oh
Such a good
my
feeling.
gosh. It was definitely on cloud 9 for that one.
Aw,
It was pretty cool.
That was cool. I didn't know you had that title.
Oh, I
So
don't talk about it a
cool.
bunch.
Nice.
Mine were just plays. I'm like replaying
Yeah.
like sport plays that I'm like, oh yeah, that was good.
Those moments feel so good.
One I had like in softball. It was a lot of softball ones. Because I hit like a line drive when we needed it. Got runs in, and everyone's like cheering your name as you're running around the bases. And I was like, oh, that feels so good.
Yeah.
Even though in like high stakes situation because we were like losing too. And I was like, yeah, it was just like everything was like high stakes. Like I must have had 2 strikes. I was probably the third, like something like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
I got it. Even my dad was like, I was like tears of joy are like streaming down my face watching this whole thing. And I was like, oh.
They are such
That's amazing.
cool moments. Like there's moments when I watch professional sports and again, people are like, oh, come on, they're sports. It's like stupid. But that I will tear up at watching, 'cause, like especially on TikTok because they put them to like great music and they make it so dramatic. There's a few sports moments that I literally tear up or like full cry at because
What are the moments?
all these fans. There's one. It's the fans' view of this game that it's called one of the best endings to a soccer game ever. It's between. I'm gonna blank on the teams.
You'll post it.
Yeah, I'll post the end.
And we all cry with you.
But yeah, this is what happened. It was like the second leg of a game. It was pretty much whoever won that game was going to be promoted to the Premier League. And it was these 2 teams. They both needed it. The ref called a really terrible handball in the box on one of them, and the other had a PK to win it all with like 30 seconds left. The guy takes a shot. The goalie reaches out and makes a brilliant save. The guy comes in for the next shot. He tries to drill it. The goalie just takes it in the chest, and one player comes and knocks it all the way to the sideline. There's like 30 seconds left at this point. The guy goes screaming up the sideline like everyone is running back, like it's absolute pandemonium. They got all the way to the touchline. He makes a cross. The guy has like a semi-open net for a header. He heads it back to the top of the 18, which is the other direction. One player comes in and just drills it in. And it was like a complete reversal. They were gonna lose, and then all of a sudden they come back and score that goal and won it.
Wow.
And there's a fan's view, and there's fans' view. She's like rooting for this team, and when they save the penalty, she's like, yes. And then they save the penalty again. She's like, yes.
You could feel.
And then
the
everyone kind of goes
excitement.
quiet. There's like a hush in the stadium. They play the long ball. Everyone starts to get rowdy again. And as soon as they play it over and they score the goal, everyone in
eruption
they're
is,
all
like, the
crying.
best.
They're going nuts. It's like great. I love great sports moments like that.
Yep.
I've only ever had two, and they came my high school senior year. We had a great team my senior year for high school. Like it was so much fun, and we won league, and there was one game that we were playing like our biggest rival at the time, and we had scored two goals early. And we were like destroying them. Trevor had this goal that was still one of the best high school goals I've ever seen. He was like at the top, almost like at half field. And he had a free kick, probably 35 yards out. And he just drills in. The keeper couldn't do a thing. It was like upper 90. One of the best shots I've ever seen in my life. So shout out Trevor. And then we were up 2-0. The ref calls 2 bad penalty kicks against us. So they just scored 2. It was 2-2 bad penalty kicks. I still remember we go to overtime. As soon as they scored the second PK, we all got together, and I still remember JB like hyping us up, and no one could understand a word that anybody was saying. We all just screamed at each other and yelled at each other and pumped each other up. We got in the line. We had a free kick. Freddie played this ball across. Mark flicked it off the top of his head, and I was in the back post, and I just slotted it in. And we looked at the ref, and he didn't call offsides, and we ran back. It was like the best feeling.
Man.
It was golden goal. The game ended at that point. We won.
Whoa.
So
Wow,
good.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at
I'm
the,
gonna keep going
hype.
about this,
I
guys.
know. It's like, look how he's
My
like-
all-time favorite though was we played our biggest rival in the first round of the state tournament with the same team. Our biggest rival. It was a 3:00 game because light was dwindling, and they would do that for state tournaments. And they dismissed everyone from school to go watch this game because it was like a big rival. The game was like heated. We were much better than the team, but we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And in the 70th minute, high school games go up to the 80th minute. In the 70th minute, Freddie plays a ball up top, and the keeper's just about to go grab it, and I make one small step, kind of step in front a little bit. It goes right through his hands, and I knock it in the back. And it was like it was a boring goal, not a great goal at all. But I remember for those 10 minutes, everyone was chanting for our team. Everyone was going crazy. It was everyone from school chanting. I've never felt that in my entire life. For those 10 minutes, I felt like the greatest soccer player in the world.
Yes.
Oh,
So good.
I love moments like that.
Yeah, those cheering is
I know.
it's good.
I know. It's addicting.
Yeah, Danny, what's yours? I'm sure you have really cool stuff too.
I don't think that I do. Well, because I didn't really play, like I probably do, but none of them live on in my memory because I hated running. So I stopped running in middle school. Soccer, I was like, forget this. High school, I have to give up 2 weeks of my summer and start practice, whatever. So then I was out. Although I do remember there was an alumni game, which I kind of wanted to play. But again, I never played soccer. So I was like a backup. Like somebody didn't show up. They had extra jerseys. Kirk was like, oh, hop on. So then I was like sitting there to be like, hey, if they need me, you know, because we're all old now. And I do remember the 5 minutes I played, I jumped off the bench and subbed in and immediately got the ball. And then me and Corey were just passing back and forth, sprinting towards the goal. And I got a pretty good shot on, but it got blocked. But it was still a fun moment because I was like, oh, all right, this is like still good. And it was fun. I was like, oh, I should have played soccer.
I know. You should have, dude.
It would have been a
Senior,
blast.
it would have been so
But
fun.
I think also what makes the moments stick is when they matter. And so like the tournaments, the big moments, the emotion, the lead up, all of that. And I didn't have that. So, yeah.
Oh.
But in golf, maybe I had a few moments, but I'm not going to go telling those stories. I'm like, let me think. Did anything? No. So yeah, Nothing much.
Is that
But
a thing,
maybe
though,
it'll
with,
occur to me tonight when I'm going to bed. I'll be like, oh, I should have said that
I
moment.
know.
Well, like individual games, like when you're just like a solo athlete versus like,
Yeah.
well, I guess it's still a hype.
I guess there's a
though.
little difference.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Weasley is our
For
king.
those people who
Getting
don't
back
like
to that,
us.
yeah. Sorry, this is a Harry Potter podcast, but we're going through our sports moments.
Of course.
Love a good sports moment.
I'll drive
Let's go to
athletes.
chapter 15. Chapter 15 is the Unbreakable Vow. Give me a quick summary of this chapter. Unless, Danny, anything left in 14?
No, I'm just quickly looking. Lee Jordan. We miss him.
I know, we miss him. Zachariah Smith is nothing compared to him.
No.
Drawing lots of hearts on these pages. Romance is in the air. Harry's hot stuff. Wait, a Pugno? That's the create a bird one?
Yeah, make a bird, yeah.
That's cool. All right, Unbreakable Vow.
All right, give me a summary.
You're going to have to do it because I don't have one.
All right, I think I wrote a little
It's
guy.
always like a random chapter that I forget.
This is basically Slughorn's Christmas party. But the big moment of this chapter was at the end when Snape pulls Malfoy aside, and then Harry, with his invisibility cloak, is listening in on their conversation about like, you're being foolish, you're being crazy. What's your plan? I'm not telling you the plan. Kind of that back and forth. And this is the party where Harry was there with Luna, and Hermione was there with McLagan, and he was being a little feisty, and she was running away from him.
Is that supposed to be Snape on this picture? Because it doesn't look like him.
No, I think that's Filch because he's grabbing Malfoy by the ear. I think. I can't imagine Snape grabbing someone by the ear because it's so physical and like, I don't know. I'm
It's
pretty
just
sure
like,
that's Filch
I thought
bringing
Snape
him
usually
up.
had, like the long hair, so maybe you're right.
Yeah.
And it looks like he has a mustache or a goatee, so that can't be Snape, right?
Oh, that's definitely Filch, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, creepy old Filch. There are some all-time lines in this chapter. Like
Ooh.
some hilarious ones. Like Harry had to put up with the frequent
Hilarious.
presence of Lavender Brown, who seemed to regard any moment that she was not kissing Ron as a moment wasted.
Yeah.
Then he goes, she can't complain, he told Harry. She snogged Crumb. So she's found out someone wants to snog me too. Well, it's a free country. I haven't done anything wrong. I never promised Hermione anything, Ron mumbled. I mean, all right, I was going to go to Slughorn's Christmas party with her, but she never said, just as friends, I'm a free agent.
Free agent.
What will the outcome of these two be?
Oh, boy.
Of Ron and Hermione.
Yeah.
Love.
Love connection.
Love potion number 9.
Yeah, probably. It does feel like that's what is being set up here.
Is that Chanel? Oh, no, that's a
Is it?
song. Never mind.
There
Sorry.
should be an actual perfume for that, right? Why
It's a
not?
song, right? Is it? Or am I
And a
making this
movie.
up? I have no idea.
Or is it
Anyway,
Love
I'm gonna eat
Potion
my
number
cookie.
27 or something crazy? I think there is a movie too. Yeah, I think it's going to work out. I think this is just their awkward phase. They're figuring it out.
Yep.
But once they figure it out, I think it'll be good. Unless they figure it out in the second half of this book and then it ends to make way for something greater in the next book. But I don't know who that would be. And somebody's got to fall in love. If Harry dies at the end of these books, there's got to be some kind of romance, happy ending, naming kids after Harry, etc. So I'm hoping that would be Ron and Hermione. But it also could be something else. I just haven't figured it out yet. But Ron and Hermione would make so much sense. They're cute. And that way we'd get to see them as a couple for more than just half a book. For eternity. I don't know. Yeah.
Read a lot of fan fiction about that, Danny.
You think so?
That they'll be good together?
Yeah, or that it'll actually work out.
Oh, workout, yeah.
Because the only reason it's not working out is just like silly stuff.
Do you think that Hermione is going to do something purposely to break them up? Would she do that?
Ooh, interesting.
Because she
Break.
confunded
Lavender?
Cormac.
Right. That was big.
Hermione is intense.
She's
Don't
She's
mess
getting
with
there.
her.
I know.
She's a hot tamale too.
If she starts getting a little jealous and asks Ginny for advice, Ginny's gonna give her some advice, and it's gonna be interference. It's gonna be crazy. But I can't imagine Hermione coming up with that on her own. But if she did, how would she do it? How do you break up Ron and Lavender? It's silly that the easiest one would just be telling Ron how you feel and it'd be done. But she wouldn't do that. That'd be too easy.
She's got to date other guys.
And make him jealous.
Jealousy.
That's a good, but how would she break up Ron and Lavender?
No, because Ron will be upset and just be over it with Lavender. I mean,
And just be upset.
There's only so many times you can be making out. I mean, he also, that's good too. I wonder if that gold chain is actually from Lavender.
Oh, you mean it could be from Hermione to make it too clingy to break them up?
Yep.
That's a great theory, Jen.
That
would be
That is brilliant.
So brilliant.
Because it's the best possible move.
Yeah, Hermione just keeps sending gifts.
That is a great thought.
And then he's just like, oh, this is too much too soon.
Like over the top gifts.
And then she's like, yep, gotcha.
Oof. You know?
What if it is from her? That
I don't
big
think it is.
No,
but
I don't think so either.
Only because it's so diabolical. And then if Ron does find out, that's a rough one to explain. Then you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to break you guys up.
What about the other thing that she like
confunded?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that can never get out. Unless they are getting in a relationship, then they have to be open and communicate.
To share everything.
Yeah. No, we're not using doublespeak. What
honestly,
do you mean?
Yeah. And I wouldn't put it past Hermione to do stuff like that, to be honest. Like send terrible cheesy gifts in Lavender's name in order for Ron to like go.
Not only
insane.
cheesy but clingy.
I know, yeah.
And they could have
like-
charms and spells on
What
them.
if she did like
to actually influence Ron's
Did you guys
ability
mention
to
How to
kiss?
Lose a Guy in 10
It's
Days?
got a tongue tie charm on it, so he'll
my
never be a
favorite
good
movie.
kisser again.
Oh man.
Oh man, I was thinking more like she's gonna create like what their babies will look like and send it, like those pictures you combine their faces.
yeah.
Oh, is that what you were saying?
But at the same point, does Hermione
I was thinking of different movies.
does Hermione just need to get out of the way? Is Lavender just doing like if maybe Lavender just sent this all
Just
herself? Even
be
people in chat are
herself,
saying
yeah.
she just is sending this stuff herself. So Hermione just has to get out of the way.
Yeah, that's
So
what
she's sending clingy gifts to Ron already. Like
Ron's not really into
yeah.
it. But
Is
we also
Ron actually into her?
No.
I think a little bit, to be honest.
A little bit.
Ron
For
never
sure.
gets
It's
attention.
And he wants
100%. Well, he likes
Yep.
the attention, but he still likes her a little bit. I think he noticed her
Yeah,
in certain parts.
he
He
did.
likes
He was smiling at
kissing
her, like I think even first. No, but there was some
Yeah.
attention
I
there.
said I think he likes kissing her.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
No, not that.
Snogging.
All right,
Snogging.
whatever.
Snogging, whatever.
Snarking.
Maybe I just.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
I'm trying to think who smiled at who first.
Lavender smiled at Ron first.
Passing in the hallway, and that
Sorry.
started it all. Yeah.
Wait, what was that again? I missed it.
She smiled at him
cookie.
first. Lavender smiled at Ron first.
Yep. And that started the whole thing.
So he likes
Is that
the
all
attention.
you need, guys? Is a smile?
It's a very good start. If girls are interested, yeah. Honestly, just
like
because
getting
then
your
it's
foot
like
in the
it's
door.
like showing that there's some interest to say, "Hey, guy,
Yeah.
have you ever thought about this?" You know.
Is that what I did?
No, if anything, the opposite. But you know what? It worked out because thankfully I'm not a junior in high school anymore. So
Yeah,
I was not too dissuaded by that. But no, I think a smile goes a long way. And because it's like, it's just friendly and comfortable and it gives a lot of information. So.
Always smiling.
I was gonna say I smile at everybody.
Yeah.
And then you get the people you don't want.
Well, yep.
This was
Yeah.
another line that we have. There isn't anyone I want to invite, mumbled Harry, who was still trying to not think about Ginny any more than he could help, despite the fact that she kept cropping up in his dreams in a way that made him devoutly thankful that Ron could not perform
Oh
legitimacy.
my gosh.
What's Harry dreaming about there?
I don't know. You tell us, John.
Moving on. So they're going to the Slug Club's
This is
like
a
party,
PG-13 book.
Christmas party, huh?
What is this rated?
I know, right?
PG-13 book.
But they're going to a dance, like a dinner. Do you guys have any good prom or dance stories?
I didn't go to prom, so
Oh.
Really?
no. I didn't want to.
No.
Were you like too cool for it?
No.
That was a clear one.
I had no friends. No. Also, I had a fun dancing moment.
Oh yeah, like what?
You have to see it, and I'm not going to share it with everyone.
Ah, okay, nice. That'll be on our Instagram, everyone. Follow us.
I don't know if I have any.
No, I can't really think of anything.
I just remember prom being really fun. Like overall. I don't have any like.
This is like a fancy
Stories.
party. This is what this is. No. Sorry, I totally cut you off.
Any kind of party or dance.
Are you talking about the book?
I'm talking about the book.
Book. Was this like fancy?
I think this was a fancy party, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely thought of this as being fancy. Like
Remember when
more
like
fancy
Hermione
than they expected.
than
almost.
the ball or whatever? Because remember Hermione like did her hair and unrecognizable and all that stuff. I thought she was gonna
Oh yeah, the U
I think it's a
ball.
little
Right?
That's
less
why I
fancy
didn't
than
think
that.
it was like that. Because I was like, oh, she didn't get all like dressed up.
But this is like that was different because every student attends, so that might feel more like prom. But this feels maybe a little more casual.
Exclusive though.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
exclusive, which is like classy in its own way.
Did
The
you
only
finish your story, Kristen?
Oh.
I cut her off.
you had a story.
Prom.
Or you were
said
just saying it was
so
fun.
Oh,
and
no,
then that was it.
There wasn't a story.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying like I don't remember anything specific. It was just a fun night.
Yeah,
I can't like think of anything.
we also had a winter banquet. So we would have like a couple different times a year. We would go out for sports banquets and whatever else. But I don't know if John remembers this, and I don't think I told the story, but I do think it's funny because we did one of ours on a boat. And so we all get onto the boat and we're about to go out on the river and do some big old cruise. And it was going to be really fun. And we're like all loading on.
I remember this exact story. I know what you're going to say.
and then I don't know, it's just so because I
so
think of this
funny. I don't know
way
why,
too
yeah.
often, and all like parents had dropped us off because I don't remember what year it was, and at least a few parents were there, and the boat like starts to pack up, and the gangway is stored, and then the boat starts to go off from the dock. And then one of the parents sees that one of the ropes is still attached. And so he just runs over and like grabs the rope off of this giant like anchor point and then throws it into the water so it can be pulled in. And the dudes on the boat all completely freaked out. They're like, oh my goodness, guy, what are you doing? And then they go into panic mode
They were
because
furious.
they were using that as the anchor point to rotate the boat out so they could turn and then leave without hitting other boats. So he just basically took their anchor point off and then they were floating into other boats. So it was just this funny moment where we're all like on the boat watching. It was a boat really similar to the one in The Office where they
Yeah,
go
it
on
was,
the
yeah.
booze cruise. And we're just watching as everyone's panicking and we're like, parents are doing things wrong. Nobody knows what's
I
going on.
remember the parents
And
were,
we
in
were
a
just
panic,
cracking
trying
up.
to get this thing because they saw it. And
Yeah.
like the parents were like, oh no, like someone go run. And like the one guy who was like the fastest, most
Yep.
athletic guy, like ran quick to try to solve the problem. And all the guys in the boat are like, what are you doing, you idiot? And they like gave him an earful for it. That was so funny.
And for whatever reason, I just think of that story like
Yeah.
so often. And it's also a funny example that when I think of if you think you know how something's supposed to go, but you actually don't.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's all sometimes better to just wait and let,
Yeah.
let the people deal with it.
Like,
But
let them destroy a dock if they have to destroy a dock. It's on them, you know?
yeah, but if you throw the line in the water and they back into boats,
Weigh the risk reward.
Yikes.
There's another point in this. We can kind of keep talking about Hermione being a dark character here. She mentions love potions. Do you think that love potions are a dark thing? Where she kind of talks about love potions not being as positive as most people think they are. Do you think that's kind of true? Do you think that love potions are dark?
I mean, it's
Maybe.
being untruthful in a way, right?
Yeah, it's manipulative in a way.
Yeah, that's a better word.
it depends how you view it. Like, I feel like you could, but like, well, it's the same thing as like
Do
when
explain.
when George and Fred are there with Ron and they do a spell to make him slice his finger open. Like, it's so weird to us because that is mean, no matter how you slice it. But
Oh, yeah.
it but it's just in the wizarding world, you can do the little spell, heal up the finger. It's not as big of a deal as we're used to. So do we have to view things like this in the same way? Like, it's not a real love potion, it's whatever. Or is this something we have to equate to like not getting consent? You know what I mean? This is literally drugging somebody. And so I'm like, because for the sake of the book and the tone of it.
Sorry, it's so blunt, but I have
literally.
very strong opinions about this.
I was gonna say, with your example, it's Ron alone. Like, it's just like he's doing it, like cutting himself, but it's just him in that. Like what you're saying, you're bringing another person into this.
Yeah.
So that's really not
and that's
okay.
why it feels wrong. But then it's like, Mrs. Weasley did this to Mr. Weasley, and I'm like, ugh. When she's confessing it, it was like a joke. It was fun.
Yeah, and I think there's a difference in like, maybe this sounds weird, the difference in doing drugs when you're a couple and just relaxing versus when you're date raping someone.
Yeah, like it's not that the thing itself is dark or not; it's how you use it. Is that what you're saying?
To some extent, yeah.
I feel like it's not good. I don't know.
Like,
or you dilute it, so it's just like a little like puppy love, and then it can wear off quickly. Versus like a strong,
for sure. I think
hit.
Yeah, I think maybe it does have to do with how you use it. I think if there's two, again, we're talking about the idea of consent. If there's two consenting adults and you want to use it to just like have a day where it's like Felix Felicis, where you just have like an absolute love-filled day. Take that as far as you want, dirty minds.
When you get lucky, right?
Then go ahead and like do that. If you're two consenting adults, and that's great. There should be like an unbreakable vow that you have to take before that or something like that, you know? That'd be a little extreme. But
You die.
I think
till death do us part.
Yeah, I do think that this
Whoa,
is one of the I think this is worse than the Imperious Curse, if I'm being completely honest. I think that the Imperious Curse is kind of like it, but it's one thing to put the Imperious Curse on someone and be able to control whatever they do. It's another thing this is essentially the Imperious Curse, but the person falls completely in love with you.
Right.
Against their wishes and desires. And has a kid with you.
And when we saw Merope do that, that was like next
I feel like
level.
it depends where you're coming from. Like, that's your worst fear. And like, I would be like...
Yes. That's why I think one of the best lines in this novel, and I've been using it over the past few weeks, is do not underestimate the power of obsessive love. It is probably the most dangerous. This is probably the most dangerous potion that he has in this room, which is the love potion. Slughorn views that potion, Amortentia, as one of the most dangerous substances. And he had Veritaserum, he had Liquid Luck. They were going to brew Draft of Living Death. And the most dangerous one that he had was Amortentia.
Now, maybe what I'm starting to think is there an FDA monitoring the food and drugs of the wizard world? I don't think so, but maybe somewhere in the ministry they've got a team. But when Fred and George are bottling this up for kids to buy in their joke shop,
that is absurd.
Yeah.
this can't be full power stuff. This has to be like a watered down version,
But again,
a light, fluffy version.
I think this is a good version of it. Maybe it's not Amortentia to that extent, but I think it is Hermione even is fearful over what they're doing with it. She is nervous in this moment because she knows, I think this is the moment that, maybe not the moment, but the moment where Hermione truly realizes in the last few chapters that Fred and George are beyond brilliant wizards. They're incredible at what they do. And this is at the first time where she's actually fearful of the things that they've created, which is the date rape drug.
Right.
And again, someone even on chat mentioned this. You can resist the Imperious Curse.
Ooh,
Can you resist the love potion?
Oh, that's fair.
I don't think you can.
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
to an
not.
extent.
But would
like
you even
can.
know what's
Yeah.
happening? Like, at least the Imperious Curse, you know what's happening.
For
to you.
sure. That's a good question.
Like,
I'm not sure.
internally,
Yeah.
you would know. I don't know.
I don't think so, because Ginny, that's the question. Was Ginny put under the
Harry.
Imperious Curse in the second book? Was it the Imperious Curse? I don't know why
I thought
I'm
it was
blanking on
something
that.
else, but I don't know. You guys are good at recalling that stuff.
I don't think I think it was more of a possession thing rather than the Imperious Curse, because she blanked out for those time periods.
But Harry was able to rebel
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
in the
thinking.
class.
And he kind of remembered it, yeah. So it's I just think this is dark.
Granted,
It
they
is.
were
It sounds very
practicing
dark.
Too, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why.
Yeah.
It was in class. Maybe that's why too. They were like prepared for it.
Yeah.
On a lighter
I didn't
note,
even think of that at all. It went right over.
Why do you think
What?
I'm thinking of this?
I don't know.
On a lighter note, Madam Pins freaks out
bring
at
that
Harry
up.
for writing in the book, which he's not writing. But do you guys write in books? Danny does. We know Danny
I have
does.
a weird rule about this. I think I've said it. I do not mark up my fiction books. I will mark up nonfiction.
Oh yeah,
Like you wouldn't.
I kind of
believe.
like that. I like that.
That's me too.
Don't ask
Wait,
me
say
why.
that again?
I will not mark up fiction.
But nonfiction,
I will
you're
mark
down.
up
Makes
nonfiction.
sense.
I will write in it. I'll highlight.
Yeah.
I'll like do whatever I need to in that to like
Yeah, yeah,
remember.
yeah.
But like this is the story. I'm not touching it.
I like that.
I'll write
That's a very
down
good
quotes. Yeah, I'll write down quotes on the side, but I don't know why. I won't touch it.
rule. I like it. Yeah, I used to keep my books more pristine because there was something about it. And I was like, but why? I think I also used to think that I was going to read them again or give them away to somebody, and then the next person wants a clean book. But then I was like, you know what? They can enjoy my margins.
Yeah, it's funny though because there is
Enjoy my
something about
march.
getting a used book that's marked up.
You
That's
like
really
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Especially at a
There's, like,
bookstore
history
where you
in
don't
it.
know where it came from.
Yeah.
A little of what Harry's experiencing. But yeah. Now I like it. But it is much better when it's nonfiction. Because then it's like, you know, you're highlighting things that matter, how it applies to your life.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's cool.
I used to write in books a lot, but I don't really too much anymore.
What changed?
Because
I don't know.
Got lazy.
Yeah, I think it probably was just laziness.
Or like pace of reading, maybe.
Maybe it was pace of reading. I think part of it too was just the enjoyment I got in reading. It wasn't so much like I wanted to gain a lot of information
yeah.
from something, but rather I just really like enjoyed storytelling. So when I was reading more when I was in high school and college, it was like like underlining a ton of stuff because I just liked the way it sounded or liked the sentence. But like more, it's like I'll read a book and I just want to get caught up in the story. So I don't want it to have to like
Yep.
pause. Like
That's
you,
a great
like,
point.
well, I feel bad for you because you're not really reading to like enjoy a story so much. You are, but
No,
like,
I am, but I'm also just,
it is-
I'm studying for my
Yeah.
OWLs and I'm trying.
exactly.
We're back in school, guys.
Yeah. There's also a mention in this book that there's something going on between Pince and Filch, which is a cute moment that Hermione and Harry share when they're like everything's kind of back to normal between them. But is this possible? Are Finch and or Filch and Pince?
That's their combined name.
Yeah, exactly.
Finch.
Are they a couple?
sure.
I think he's loyal to his wife. Maybe he's
cat?
holding out.
The cat?
Well, we had our suspicions that it was the cat
I still
that
like
his wife was turned into.
And he's a squib and he can't
Yeah, and he was
change
trying to learn magic so he could turn her back or something. But you know what? Maybe not. Or maybe they're in an open relationship or something. Filch and Pince could be. It could be. I picture Pince as being really old.
Yeah. You know what I pictured? Have you guys seen Monsters University?
What? I have seen it, but only like once.
There's the
maybe.
was
one
asking.
task that they have to sneak in the library, and the librarian is this massive old like slug lady that she like is tiny, but then she gets like huge and
Oh,
then throws
yeah,
people out of
yeah.
the window whenever. And
That
like
is
there's like a
so
creep.
great.
There's one part in the beginning when like this kid is like walking and he creaks on a floorboard and she like towers over him. She goes, "Quiet!" And she takes him and just throws him out the window. I'm like, this is Madam Pince right
That's
here.
it.
She's
Yes.
like lurking in a bookshelf. They like hear something before they see her. I think that was so funny. But in this moment too, after this moment, Harry runs into Luna with Hermione. Because Hermione is, like, actually no, this is in class. Sorry, the next day. Hermione's in class. They make fun of each other. She goes to the bathroom. She's crying. Harry goes to see her, and she sees Luna. And Luna's great. Like, I think I love Luna so much. But she mentions that Ron is unkind. She says, he's very funny, and he says very funny things sometimes, doesn't he? Said Luna, as they set off down the corridor. But he can be a bit unkind. I noticed that last year. Do you think that Ron is unkind?
Maybe unintentionally. Maybe like
Yeah.
he says things in jest.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like Luna would like be listening to everyone.
Hmm.
You know?
Yep. She's more like, she just views things as, well, I was going to say facts, even though she says crazy stuff. But yeah, like if you're in Ron's inner circle, if you're a Gryffindor, I don't think you would think of Ron as being unkind. But I could see that if you were just from a distance seeing some of this stuff, maybe.
It's interesting coming from her though, because she's so
Yeah.
blunt.
Right.
Like, she will
right.
state fact,
Yep.
and sometimes stating fact can be hurtful.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I would like to know.
Because some people would say she's unkind.
Right.
She's
right.
not
Okay.
tact, she has no tact in what she
Right.
says.
Yep. And I think
So
Ron
I'd be
has such a good
curious.
heart, and we know that.
Right,
That's why we don't
right.
think of him as unkind.
That's why like it would be unintentional.
But you're right. You're right. That's a good way to say it. Where Luna is saying that, but even she would be
I would want to know
unkind
what
sometimes.
her view of being unkind
Yeah, for sure.
is.
I think, yeah, that's an interesting point because I think Luna's only really seen Ron unkind in the situations that he's like battled Hermione, because Luna is such a good friend with Hermione. So I'm
Yep.
sure Hermione goes to vent because Hermione doesn't seem like she has a ton of friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking of that in this chapter. I think she has a few, but like she has a lot of girls in her year, like Lavender and Pavardi, that are like fake friends to her. Like even
Yep.
Pavardi, when she comes back at the table, like she's all smiling and happy because she knows she made fun of her. She feels bad, so she was being overly nice to Hermione. I'm like, that's not a good friend. Come
Right.
on. So I feel like Hermione probably goes to Luna a little bit and like vents sometimes. And Luna might be a good person to vent to. She just says things how she
Yeah.
sees them.
Yeah.
Yep.
She also, or this is another moment that happened, which I just want to point out because I think it's ridiculous. Hi, Harry, said Pavardi, who, like him, looked faintly embarrassed and bored by the behavior of their two friends. Hi, said Harry. How are you? You're staying at Hogwarts, then. I heard your parents wanted you to leave. I managed to talk them out of it for the time being, said Pavardi. That Katie thing really freaked them out. But as there hasn't been anything since... Oh, hi, Hermione. Sounds like we were talking about before, but I just want to point out how I think it's ridiculous that her parents wanted to take her out because of the necklace. But in year 1, Voldemort was their teacher. In year 2, there was a basilisk that was set loose in the Chamber of Secrets. In year 3, the notorious Sirius Black was pretty much hanging around the castle. In book 4, there was a dragon. There was all sorts of dangerous creatures. In book 5, they were pretty much being destroyed from Umbridge. But this necklace,
But that's what
That was-
does
that's
it
the
for
straw that broke the camel's back. But then we have one of my favorite lines of all time. There was a noise like a plunger being withdrawn from a block sink, and Ron surfaced.
That made me laugh out loud.
That was so good. Is Hermione a low-key it girl? Like, is she like a not as popular Ginny, but when people see her and notice her, she's next level. She's on Ginny's level, but she's just not quite as noticeable, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to like draw equivalents to my own school experiences and think of the people who were just really smart, and I wasn't necessarily hanging out with them that often, but when they have things to say, I'm listening.
Yeah.
You know, because they're just really good at school, clearly going places in life. You like respect it even
Yeah.
if you're not like that close with somebody. I feel like that has to be Hermione in some ways.
Yep. Yeah, I was looking at it in this chapter.
That's a great point.
Victor Crumb's not a looker so much. I think people liked him because of his fame. He wasn't like the most attractive guy. I think Cedric was probably more attractive, but Victor Crumb had more fame. But she essentially dated the most famous athlete in the wizarding world.
I wonder if she's
Wow.
more of the it girl not in her school because she's so smart that
Yeah,
people
for
kind
sure.
of like tend to not
yep,
crowd around
you're
her,
right.
but outside people
Yeah.
would be like, she's
Yep.
Yep.
she's it.
Yeah.
And they kind of make fun of her a little in class because
Right,
she's always
right.
like eager and raising her hand.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when an objective third party comes in, they notice her
That's interesting.
right away.
And she's not so much as an extrovert as Ginny, too.
Right.
Like Ginny just knows how to work a crowd. Like even she's even mean in this chapter, but you're still laughing hysterically at her. Like she is just a person that knows how to work a crowd like crazy. And
Yep.
Hermione doesn't know how to do that. She's just brilliant. So I still think Hermione is kind of like I was noticing in this chapter, like Cormac just immediately probably said yes. Like I don't know if there was like something between them or anything like that, but I think Cormac even had a crush on her. And Cormac's like, I picture him as a very handsome, well-off wizard.
Wait, did he also have his own invite?
He also had his own invite.
So that's what's so weird too. Like it's not like he was using Hermione to get to the party. He legit wanted to go with her. And he's got an invite to this exclusive party. He could have asked anyone in the school out probably, you know? So the fact that he still said yes and wanted to go with Hermione, yeah, she must be a catch.
Yeah. I like
She is
someone.
a catch.
Yeah. Yeah, someone mentioned the line too, which is a funny one. You must like Quidditch players then. I like really good Quidditch players.
That was good. Stick it to him.
Yeah, it was good. This was the last line that we have in this little section. But he goes, Ron looked strangely blank and said nothing. Harry was left to ponder in silence the depths to which girls would sink to get revenge. It's such a good line. There's another thing. Luna mentions that Rufus Scrimgeour is a vampire. Do we think that Rufus Scrimgeour is a vampire?
I was trying to pick that up from the next chapter.
I mean, I tend to believe what Luna says, but she did say some other weird stuff in these chapters.
That was true or not?
Well, before this chapter, I feel like a lot of the stuff she said was more reasonable, or we just don't know if it was wrong. But there were like a few other things she said after this that felt like just a little wild. Maybe when she was talking to Trelawney, the something rag gum, what is the something about your teeth, gum disease, the conspiracy,
That's one of my favorite lines,
with the Aurors. That stuff I was like, what does that even mean? So I guess it depends what we feel about vampires. And how would you know? But Scrimgeour, he could be. Why not? It would make sense.
There's this line. Yeah, this
You
is the
could
line.
do is
Go ahead.
But to me, I don't get it because it's like you're half vampire, half wizard, and then you're half werewolf, half wizard.
Yeah.
Like, did someone go around biting people and like?
Oh, like to become a vampire?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how you become a vampire. Is it always the same in
Usually
all the
it's
shows? It's a
how-
bite?
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
never watched a vampire.
That's what
show?
it
No,
is
I
and
have,
what we
but
do in
like
the
also
show.
Never watched
vampires,
Twilight.
like they eat people or they drink their blood, but doesn't that kill them?
Yeah.
No, it turns them.
What was the
into-
So I'm just like-
Sanguini? That's what that was. He
What
was
was it?
inching Sanguini. He was inching toward the
that's
girls. That was such a funny
Oh,
part.
yeah.
And the person just puts a pasty in his hand.
Like
There was
this.
the actual vampire at Slug Club.
Yep.
And they walked and they were talking to each other and Sanguini, like there was a bunch of girls, they were like cackling and laughing and like pointing at him, and then he was just talking and all of a sudden you slowly see him in the book inching closer toward the girls. You're like, this guy is
Oh, I missed that.
It was funny.
I think I think it's just a bite. Like you're a wizard, you get bitten by a werewolf, you're a wizard wolf. Same thing with a vampire. You're a wizard and you get bit by a vampire. You're a wizard vampire. A vampire.
A wamp.
I was trying to think
And
of a
then,
word. I couldn't do it.
Wolford.
Wolford?
Wolfire.
Eldred Warple wrote Blood Brothers.
Blood Brothers.
You are just in your own world.
Always.
We're over here combining names of werewolves and wizards, and
Yep.
then he just comes out with this.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Jen's done. She's flat on the couch.
Oh my gosh. We're joking around on nicknames. He's
I
like,
know.
So who's this guy here?
I'm already reading on my theories. Should we combine some more names? What do
You go. That was
We're
just
ready.
funny.
I'm like, I think we've taken this to the extent of name combinations we can come up with.
He's bored with us.
I just don't think I could contribute anything more. But if I think of anything good tonight, I'll text you guys.
Sounds
I
great.
was thinking warlocks and other wizardy things.
We're ready for your serious
But nothing came to
question.
mind. So Eldred Warple wrote Blood Brothers, My Life Amongst the Vampires. And that structure of title reminded me of all the stuff Lockhart wrote, because he was always doing like a year with the Yeti and like time with the trolls, or I'm making this stuff up, but like
Marcy would
he
love
likes
this.
well, just that style of like title really feels like it would be a Lockhart thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a little mini theory that developed when I read that was that at some point Lockhart stole Eldred Warple's ideas. Then what if afterwards Lockhart wrote his story based on Eldred's experiences, did the memory charm. Eldred didn't even know he had those experiences. Maybe he even went back, experienced them all again, to live amongst the vampires, and then he wrote his own book. I like to think it's probably better than Lockhart's.
Even on the side, do you think that Harry should have a biography written about him?
Honestly, absolutely. As soon as that person suggested, I was like,
right now,
yes.
you think? I don't know.
well,
As a reader, if I'm in the Wizarding world, I want that
absolutely
so fast. I want to
Oh,
know it.
and
yeah.
the dude's setting it up for him, making it easy. And think of all the truth you could get out there.
Yeah.
This is like the Rita Skeeter interview.
No,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's
long form.
good for Voldemort. It's like, I feel like it's like giving ammo.
It could accidentally expose things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What if you put traps in there? Things that aren't
Okay.
true to like
Yeah.
little lies and things that like Voldemort won't know what your plan is, because you could either throw him off directly with lies, or you could
that would be interesting.
just like manipulate
The power
what
of
he
press in
thinks
a
your
story like
plan
this.
is. So you could kind of like get some things out there just to I don't know. Harry is the good guy, so more of his story seems like a good thing to me. But I don't know. It's at least worth saying, hey, Dumbledore, is this a good idea or a bad idea? But I feel like Harry's pretty quick to be like, nope, I'm out.
He's
which I
had
kinda
bad
respect.
experiences.
Yeah, he has
That's fair.
he's scarred.
Yep. And with the Ministry too, like in the next chapter.
Yep.
Should Harry have taken divination this year?
That would have been interesting, but I
Hmm.
don't know what else he could have learned.
For sure, I don't think he would have learned anything. But just for the off chance that he's in Trelawney's presence and
when
she does something
another
again,
thing?
and she has like another prophecy. Do you think that she's going to have another prophecy in these books?
Maybe. I don't know how often they come about.
Dumbledore said it ups her total to 2. She's had 2 real prophecies in her life.
Oof.
I wonder if you're like stressed out and anxious, does it come out more or suppress them more?
Oh, also, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before. Do you remember when Dumbledore said that ups her prediction total to 2?
No.
What, you remember what book he said that in?
I was thinking it was in the last book, but let me think.
What, you don't have notes on it?
I probably do, but I can't go back now. Was it when he was telling Harry the story of the prophecy at the end of the book to say,
Nope. It was the Sirius Black when she predicted the
Ooh.
Dark Lord or the
he said it right then?
Yeah. So she had the prophecy, and Harry goes and remember I think he faints in the class.
Yep.
And then he goes immediately to her, and then
And that's when
at
she
the
does
end of
the
that
whole
book,
thing.
I think he says something like, "Oh, that ups her prophecy game to 2."
Well, that was
That
a
was
long
the
time
second
ago,
one.
though.
Well, that was the second time, but the first time was the initial prophecy.
Harry Voldemort
Yeah.
prophecy, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what he was saying then. But do you think that she's going to make any more prophecies going forward in this book? Do you think that's going to have any role to play in this?
Well, that was like 11 years
Yeah.
difference,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe a little more, but around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think
I mean, why else was she
Yes.
in the book?
Right. Yeah.
They could have let her go.
and we're getting mini prophecies that we have to try and understand too, like in the form of, well, Harry's dreams, but like when they're more prophecies. And even I think it was earlier this book where Harry was hiding behind a statue and a student was walking by with like cards and they
Yeah.
were flipping the cards, and like I forget exactly what was being said, but it sounded like it was stuff going on in Harry's life
Yeah.
or things connected to Harry. So again, like that idea of like kind of like prophecy adjacent. So I'm thinking, yeah, it'll happen again. But when, why, I don't know.
This was
Would it
also
have been good if he went to Trelawney with all his dreams, though? I wonder how she
Yeah, how
would-
she would have interpreted that.
like all the stuff that she was seeing with
Yeah, that's a great point.
Voldemort. I don't know.
Yep.
Anyway, what was it?
This was the other funny line that you had too that I wanted to read. The Aurors are part of the Root Fang conspiracy. I thought everyone knew that. They're working from within the Ministry to bring down the Ministry of Magic using a combination of dark magic and gum disease. She's so cute.
I missed that too.
Yeah, that was going in my head. You guys mentioned that before. I was like,
But that's so intense, though.
Gum disease. Come on.
I was like, how does that work? But that's a pretty large conspiracy.
Yeah, I know.
And does that include Tonks?
I know. Is she part of this? Is she part of the Root Fang conspiracy?
I don't know. I'm hoping that the conspiracy is true, but maybe Luna doesn't understand it fully. She misunderstood a part of it, but there is some kind of conspiracy, but I don't think she's got it quite right.
Yeah.
It doesn't make enough sense.
Yeah. She's great, but she's a little off sometimes. Filch's expression of outraged disappointment was perfectly predictable. But why, Harry, wondering, watching him, did Malfoy look almost unequally unhappy? And why was Snape looking at Malfoy as though both angry and, was it possible, a little afraid? Why is Snape afraid?
Because Malfoy looks like he's dying.
That's a great point. And he's about to die if Malfoy dies.
That's why he's checking in. I think that's the only reason why he's afraid.
Yeah.
If he fails, he dies with him, which is also
Yeah,
crazy. Now it shows even more of the
I know.
spell.
Fred's buttocks has never quite recovered from. I had to bring that up.
bringing up butts
It's in the
again.
next chapter, Fred, when they were doing the unforgivable curse, and Harry learns that it's
Oh, that's right.
what kills him.
Yes.
That you will die if you don't do an unforgivable curse. And Ron is like, Mom and Dad, I've never seen Dad that angry. And Fred's like, yeah, my left buttocks has never recovered from that day because he got spanked so hard.
I wonder what
guess.
their vow was going to be.
I know.
I was thinking Malfoy was going to actually try and do the mission right here. Again, if it's like killing Harry or something bold, then Snape would have to jump in and help him in front of everybody. And Snape, I'm assuming, wants to do this the smart way, secretive, clever, and Malfoy is now just not keeping him in the loop at all.
I just thought
So bad.
everything about it's just so strange. That's why I don't fully believe
The whole story?
Snape's story. Yeah,
Hmm.
because he knows Malfoy is not able to be controlled. He's like a loose cannon.
Yeah.
I didn't
They're
think of
just,
him as
like,
being
close.
this bad
He's unpredictable.
until now.
He's strange. He's unpredictable but controlled at the same time.
Especially with
I
his
think,
mind.
well, maybe because Snape, I don't know, Snape was able to always get him to like do stuff or like share with him.
Yeah, you're right.
And now it's like, but it's also because Malfoy is like prideful. So now he's got this big role that he's trusted with. And he's like, I'm going to run with this and not tell anyone.
Yeah.
Which maybe threw Snape off. But
Yeah.
he also, who was the one that said they would do the unbreakable vow? Was it Malfoy's mom or
Yeah.
was it Snape that suggested it? That is what I cannot remember.
Oh, who suggested it?
Bellatrix suggested it.
Bellatrix suggested it.
Because she was being sassy
Yeah.
to Snape. Like, well, all right, if you're so trusted and whatever, then do the unbreakable.
And Snape
'Cause
goes, can
that-
pull out your wand. And then he does the unforgivable. Or not the unforgivable.
Because that was so weird to me. I don't know.
There you go.
Hmm.
Why would Snape
And then
take
I
this?
also is like, is it really Snape? Is it someone else?
Is Malfoy becoming a vampire? With his dark shadows under his eye?
They are mentioning vampires a lot in these chapters.
Distinctly grayish
That
tinge
would
to his
be
skin. That's how the
interesting.
vampire was described.
He's
could be.
He's gonna
Snape
bite
could already
Harry.
be one too. We don't know.
Gonna
Snape
bite
has
Harry.
been suggested to be a vampire before.
Yeah, so it could make sense.
Maybe that's why he's not afraid of dying.
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe that's why he did the unforgivable. I keep saying
Yeah.
unforgivable.
the
Unbreakable.
unbreakable. I know now. I
Unbreakable.
keep saying unforgivable.
I kept saying it in my head before.
If he is a vampire, that would make sense then. Can you actually die though with that? If you were a vampire,
You need a silver dagger, right?
Like the one used to crush beans? Oh no.
What?
Remember when Harry made the potion based on the Half-Blood Prince? He used a silver
I love
dagger
the
to crush
obscure
beans.
things that you bring up. Oh my gosh. I
And
love
that's
that
a
you
silver
knew.
dagger.
was
That
a
could kill a
silver
vampire.
So he can kill Snape.
Well, maybe. Well, vampire or not, you could kill someone with a silver dagger, but
True.
Oh no.
good
That's
being
dodge.
attacked.
You can get-
Yikes.
Are you shocked to learn that Draco has mastered occlumency, though? That is a seriously difficult thing to master. Harry couldn't do that at all,
Yeah,
And
because
Draco's
other things
mastered it.
going on.
for sure. And
Draco
Snape was the one teaching him.
doesn't.
It's just weird because I don't think of Malfoy as being that disciplined, but I do think of him as being a good actor. Like with the thing in the train where Harry was like waiting and Draco did that whole charade and then,
that's true,
you know, got Harry. And every time Harry and Draco are exchanging little like, you know, bits at each other, Malfoy seems to get the upper hand because he can keep that straight face. He's like, he's ice cold when they're being mean and sassy and exchanging insults. So I think of that as being disciplined in a weird way. So I'm not that surprised that he's good at this.
I see him as determined.
Yeah.
So it's like if he wants to do something, he's gonna be able to do it.
And he has like Bellatrix as an aunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also
Yep.
sorry. I'm also getting corrected, and I want to talk to you guys because silver is for werewolves, killing werewolves,
And it's a
and
steak.
vampires are sunlight and a wooden stake.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh, I
when-
should have remembered that from Vampire
what is the
Diaries.
garlic
I know, me
thing,
too.
though?
I
That's
thought the
with,
garlic to protect
That's to
you.
keep them away.
Keep them away. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
What was that?
Remember
Garlic was a thing.
Oh,
you
yeah,
wear
yeah.
it around your
stuffing
neck or
garlic in
something.
his turban.
Yeah, what
the
was
smell
the
was.
Vampire Slayer?
When it was really Voldemort rotting.
Yep.
Buffy
his
the
little turban.
Vampire
Wow.
Slayer. Right?
Voldemort just hadn't
Gross.
taken a bath in a while. What? Sorry.
Nothing.
What? No, say it.
I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's fine. He reads my mind, occlumency. Or
There it is.
legit, whichever one it is.
He's been
Both.
practicing.
He needs to.
So we haven't seen any steaks around,
No
or have
steaks.
we?
Maybe.
None come to mind, but
I guess a wand could be used as a stake.
It's
Uh,
made
this-
out of
oh,
wood.
you're right.
Yeah. Harry's just
Ugh.
sharpening his wand over there with a silver knife,
Ah,
silver
it's
dagger.
still so weird though. This whole Snape thing and
Yeah.
Malfoy.
What do you think of them? Like, is
I don't
Snape
get
trustworthy?
it. I still don't fully believe his story of like, because anytime Wormtail is a part of someone's story, I feel like there's something fishy there. So when Wormtail was in Snape's house, that seemed
Interesting. That's
odd
what got
to
you.
me. And I just can't believe, well, I'll be eating my words probably, but I just can't believe she would just like serve it on a silver platter for us. Like, here,
Yeah.
Snape is bad. I feel like we've been going through these stories trying to figure out who's who, and it just seems revealed so easy
Yeah.
that I don't believe it. Maybe I just don't want to believe
No,
it.
I know what you mean. Like Lupin said, if Dumbledore trusts him, then I trust him.
Yep.
in
But
the
then
next
he
chapter.
made fun of
Dumbledore
Dumbledore.
wrong?
Snape when
Yeah.
like, oh, he's so trusting. That's his fault, and that's how I got in. I don't know. It's so weird. But then it's like, but then he's doing this unbreakable vow, and
Yeah.
I'm like, but what is Malfoy gonna do? And if you're on the good side, why would you want to be tied to anything?
Mhm.
So I don't know.
I feel like he hasn't quite made up his mind, and that's why I thought he was scared in the party here, because it felt like it was like the moment where he was going to have to make up his mind. And I also feel like he kind of wanted to know Malfoy's plan so that he would know if there was another way to help Malfoy fulfill his vow, but not do whatever other bad things he's afraid Malfoy's
Because
going to do.
what-
But I
is-
think also I find it interesting that Malfoy doesn't want to share with him. So
Yeah,
that
so
makes
weird.
so that makes me think that he doesn't actually fully believe Snape's story either.
Yeah. And what is this thing that they're trying to do? What is
I have no idea. It's something. It feels like killing Harry, capturing Harry, trapping him,
Yeah, it does. I'm
cursing him.
I was thinking it could be something else, like stealing something from Hogwarts, but I don't know what it could be. And I'd have to go back and read. Like, I don't remember what it
could
actually
it have been
said.
like the necklace was for Harry to get, and then they could control him or suck?
Control him.
Well, if you go crazy, then it's easier to get all this information.
Yeah.
And you're weakened. I don't know.
And maybe that's part of still not fully understanding what Voldemort even wants. Because what is his goal? Like, eventually he wants to kill Harry, but that's just like a step on his path to whatever his goal is. So,
Well, he likes to be alone. I think he wants to be the only wizard in the world.
so weird.
He just wants education reform. That's all he wants.
Oh, simple request. And it
just
also
pure
feels like
bloods
he
only.
wants to kill Harry. So
Yeah.
I don't think it would be, unless whatever Malfoy is doing is opening a portal, a path for Voldemort to make it into Hogwarts. Like, this is laying the foundation for that path. Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. Let's go on to the last chapter, unless... Danny?
No, I just said Draco is such a brat,
Yeah.
even to people on his team.
But you kind of have respect for him here. Well, maybe not respect, but you're like, he's actually a good wizard in ways that you didn't think he was
Yep.
at all in the rest of the story.
Oh, 'cause he is
Literally
other
at
people.
all until now. But it
Is
also...
it even him?
Ooh, can you be pulling off a mask?
Very interesting, Jen.
I love this polyjuice.
Yeah,
potion.
usually that's my job.
Is that
bring
where
up Polyjuice.
Dumbledore goes? He really takes Malfoy. Wow. He's polyjuice.
Who would it be if it wasn't really Malfoy?
Greyback.
Ooh.
Draco is sitting in Azkaban. Lucius is attending school.
Oh,
I know.
man.
I even thought that Lucius
Wow.
was Snape sometimes.
Yikes. Could anyone be in Azkaban for Lucius?
The only thing is, couldn't
happened before.
Dumbledore read Malfoy's mind and know what he's going to do?
I don't know, because we haven't seen that much out of Dumbledore doing that. It almost, in my head, I'm thinking, no. I like to think that Dumbledore respects people's privacy. And isn't this the ultimate invasion of privacy?
Yeah, 100%.
This is the time to do it.
Yes, of course. It's like, I
I
like
wanna
free
be
speech. Even if people are
respectful.
cursing me out, I still will fight for their right to say whatever bad thing they're saying. So I feel like if Dumbledore is truly saying it's a good thing to give people their privacy, would he compromise on that and say, all right, well, desperate times? Or would he say, nope, privacy is a right regardless of the times. I do not know if Draco is evil yet, so I have no right to, take away his rights. But I did think of no honor among thieves, because Malfoy's like, you're stealing my glory. You want to steal my glory. It's just like, that felt so petty and weird.
Yeah, he's a teenager.
What about Mr. Lestrange, and why is he not doing anything? Could he be a Draco on the side for
Who's
right now?
Mr. Lestrange?
Oh, like Bellatrix's husband, I guess. We haven't seen
Rodolphus.
anything from him. What's his name?
Rodolphus.
Rudolphus.
She's married?
Well, a
Was.
throuple with Voldemort, maybe. But it's only because the last we heard of him, he was torturing Neville's parents, and that was it. And then he was in Azkaban for all this time. And I'm like, he's got to be pretty insane. Either that, or he is like an absolute nobody that Bellatrix just, carries around like a chihuahua. So, I don't know yet.
We'll see. Maybe
But-
he's going to pop up in this.
Could it be Bellatrix or her?
I'm just trying to think of any other Death Eaters that it would make sense for them to be impersonating Draco if this wasn't him.
What, Crockpot?
If he's not dead and he actually became evil again, came to
Crockpot
be
is still
Draco.
your number one suspect, right? Oh.
Well, we just haven't heard a thing from him. He's not my number one
That's what
anymore.
JK's great at, though. She throws
Yeah,
him one
I
little
know,
line
I
in there. In the
know.
fourth book, Moody has a little accident with dustbins. That's the only line that she put in
Yeah.
there.
Which was ridiculous. I think Karkaroff is my second, maybe right now.
Who's your
Or
first?
third. Voldemort.
Is the Half-Blood Prince?
Yeah, because when Harry checked the date of the book, it
Oh,
said
yeah.
almost 50 years ago, which means Christmas 1946 or a little bit after.
At the same point, I think that's a stupid argument because they're using this book 50 years later.
Which is so crazy. But what that means is it could be literally anyone who attended Hogwarts in the last
From
50
that time
years.
period,
Yeah.
So it could be any of the people we suggested if Karkaroff went to Hogwarts.
But also some books, they give a new version every year, so you have to buy a new one.
And that's why it's
So
lame that
would-
Slughorn is even doing this. He's like, oh, yeah, let me find some old crusty books that are outdated, that some student found better
I
methods.
mean, I forgot about that. That it said like 50 years because he was upset it wasn't.
And just the
his
timing
dad's
seems
year.
kind of funny that it like the 40s, that's a long time ago. But it means that to me, Voldemort jumped up and Karkaroff is probably number 2. And then James Potter, I think, moved down because Lupin doesn't seem to think that was possible. And Lupin would know, right? So then it just means Voldemort, Karkaroff, Snape. Small thought that it could be also just Slughorn. In fact, that might be moving up above Snape just because it's so suspicious that that Harry got the book. What are the chances?
Yep.
So it could be that
Maybe.
Slughorn set it up for him.
This is so entertaining. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. I can do this all night, guys. Okay, Very Frosty Christmas, chapter 16.
Please don't.
Very frosty
We're going quick through
Christmas.
this one. Very Frosty Christmas. Give me a quick
Oh,
summary.
that title made me so happy.
No, I was like, this is Kristen's chapter.
Yes.
Very cozy.
It's Christmas at the Burrow. How do you say this guy's name? Scrimgeour?
Scrimgeour? Scrimgeour?
Or Scrimgeour. You can say however you want to say. Just say it with confidence.
Scrimgeour.
Scrim.
It could
And
be
Percy.
Lego Los.
Legolos.
I'm just going to call him Scrimmy.
Scrimmy.
Scrimmy
Like
and Percy.
crop pop. Didn't you call it crop pop?
Oh, yeah, Crackpot.
Yeah, that's it.
We got to come up with a kitchen utensil for him.
I'll think of something. I was going to say a skimmer. Anyway, we're getting way off topic. It's
kinda
Christmas at the Burrow. Scrimgeour and Percy show up. The Scrim guy takes Harry aside to try and convince him to work with the Ministry.
The unbreakable vow, said Ron, looking stunned. Nah, he can't have. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure, said Harry. What does it why? What does it mean? Well, you can't break an unbreakable vow. I'd worked that out for myself, funny enough. What happens if you break it then? You die, said Ron simply. Fred and George tried to get me to make one when I was about 5. I nearly did too. I was holding hands with Fred and everything when Dad found us. He went mental, said Ron. There was a reminiscent gleam in his eyes. Only time I've ever seen Dad as angry as Mom. Fred reckons his left buttocks has never been the same since. That's what I was
missed
referring.
that
Yeah.
one.
And then Fred and George, they go off and they are going off to town seeking to woo Muggle women with their magic tricks. What do you think of that?
Oh, boy.
You know what? I really like it. It's the least Muggle racist thing we've seen in a while. Because you know what? We've seen a lot of... Well, you know, I can't say we haven't seen it because we literally saw it from Voldemort's parents. But there's not a lot of wizards, you know, downloading Muggle Hinge. So it feels like that the twins are going out there just trying to hang with the people. It felt very pure. And only playfully manipulative. They're not using love potions. They're just trying to show off the tricks they got, you know? Why did it offend you guys?
I didn't even think about it.
Me neither.
I thought it was cute. Falling in love with a muggle would be awesome.
Yeah.
I did.
Aww.
But I also hope she's got a twin. That'd be nice.
Yeah, they gotta fall in love with twins. Come on.
And she works in a paper shop. That just feels so
Yeah.
pleasant.
It's
And
quaint.
simple.
It's
yeah.
a good existence.
Yep.
They could set up their joke shop right next to a paper shop.
It's perfect.
It's lovely. Here's another line. There was silence for a moment or two. Then Ron said, "Of course. You know what they'll all say. Dad and Dumbledore and all of them. They'll say Snape isn't really trying to help Malfoy. He was just trying to find out what Malfoy's up to." "They didn't hear him," said Harry flatly. "No one's that good an actor, not even Snape." "Yeah, I'm just saying, though," said Ron. Harry turned to face him, frowning. "You think I'm right, though?" "Yeah, I do," said Ron hastily. "Seriously, I do. But they're all convinced Snape's in the Order, aren't they?" I asked this before, but do we trust Snape? Is Dumbledore wrong about him? Is Dumbledore... We know that Dumbledore is wrong about things. Could he be wrong about Snape?
I think Snape could be good still. I don't know.
I think he's wrong about Snape. I don't know why, but I think he is wrong about Snape, and it's necessary for some reason. Like, what I'm saying is, he's only a little wrong about Snape. And he might know that he's wrong about him, but it's important for Harry's growth. Something about the way this situation is going to play out might be important for Harry, but I don't know why. Because I'm just thinking if he is wrong about Snape, I still feel like it's important for Harry to become who he needs to become to defeat Voldemort, but I don't know why.
He said that
So,
3 times.
well, yeah, that's how I would do it.
Like she was saying about messing names up.
He also says this. He says, "You are determined to hate him, Harry," said Lupin with a faint smile. "And I understand with James as your father, with Sirius as your godfather, you have inherited an old prejudice."
Mm.
Do you think that that's true as well? That's a great line. I love that line.
Yeah,
It's very
it's a
wise.
great line.
Yeah. Lupin's a weird dude in this book, but he's one of my favorite characters. He just seems to stand above a little bit. Like, even when he was like, I don't hate or love Snape. It's a strange thing, but I believe him. Maybe they're in a relationship.
Who?
I'm just messing. Snape and Lupin.
Oh
Nice.
my goodness.
Just kidding.
Poor Lupin out there with all the werewolves. Pretty
Yeah.
intense.
What do you think about his background? So, like,
Oh,
being bitten so young by Greyback, and now he's with Greyback trying to convince other
Crazy.
people.
and
Yikes.
Greyback is setting himself up to just like bite more people,
Yeah.
make more
It's
more
insane.
werewolves.
I know.
Oh, so intense. Yeah, that's a weird one. That was a fascinating story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can be a whole episode in the new TV show if it's still on
Yeah,
track.
seriously.
Because there's like
Flashbacks are
so much
great.
there. I'm like, oh my
know.
goodness.
Like one of those little, not like the kind of the throwaway episodes that you just, it doesn't progress the story linearly, but it just like goes back and it gives
Yep.
you a side little note. that
Which
gives
is
you more
kinda how-
insight on a character.
Yeah, even the Giants felt like that a little bit, where
Yeah.
like the story's moving and then all of a sudden it's this whole, all the memories feel like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is part of what makes this book so fun.
Yeah.
But that is fascinating.
This was also my least favorite moment in this chapter right here. This hurt my heart. Everybody was wearing new sweaters when they all sat down for Christmas lunch, except Fleur, on whom it appeared Mrs. Weasley had not wanted to waste one.
That's a little mean.
Yeah.
That hurt. I'm like, this is where Jenny gets it from.
Mm.
But is Fleur unbearable?
She is a lot.
Yeah.
She sounds very opinionated.
Yeah.
And I was thinking
Complaining
too
about the music.
Yeah,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
"Oh."
I was thinking about what you had mentioned, like it's the first in-law that they have. It's hard to change your family dynamic, and this is a hard thing for them to like grasp. But I don't think she's so unbearable that you're not going to knit your future daughter-in-law a sweater.
Right. Yeah, Mrs. Weasley's
That
a little.
hurts. She's petty.
Yep.
Yes.
Not cool.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Weasley are simultaneously so mature and so immature.
It's true.
Yeah.
And all the Weasleys are. That's why you love them.
I brought my sweater today, but I forgot it in the car.
It's
It was too hot to wear it, but
Brought it today.
I was at least going to
Hot.
drape it for Christmas.
Oh, I was like, why?
No, for the theme of it being Christmas,
I
you know?
took a second.
But, yeah.
That's so cute that you thought of that.
yeah.
Well, it's a great sweater. And I haven't been wearing it recently, so got to make use of it. But
Please don't. It's too hot.
I'm just in my house,
Way
just like
too
sweating. Whenever I read Harry Potter. I don't know, but I think Celestina Warbeck, hot tamale runner up, maybe. She's got some saucy stuff in these songs.
Oh, I was like, who is that again?
Yeah, she's the
Jazz
singer
singer.
that the Weasleys danced to
Boil
when
me
they
up
were
a hot
18.
Cup of a hot cauldron of love, right?
Yeah,
Something
cauldron
like that.
full of hot, strong love.
Oh, strong.
Sounds like a country
Come
song.
and stir my cauldron.
Oh my god!
And if you do it right, I'll boil
my
you
God.
up some hot, strong love and keep you warm tonight. I mean,
That sounds like Christina Aguilera.
Yes.
sounds like where your guy's mind would go. with certain things.
Pretty sure she's writing it for that reason.
it's
Yeah.
pretty great.
It's so good. Here is another thing. It's kind of on Tonks. She gave Lupin an annoyed look, as though it was all his fault that she was getting Floor for her daughter-in-law instead of Tonks. But Harry, glancing across at Floor, who was now feeding Bill bits of turkey off her own fork, thought that Mrs. Weasley was fighting a long-lost battle. He was, however, reminded of a question he had regarding to Tonks. And who better to ask than Lupin, the man who knew all about Patronuses? Tonks' Patronus has changed form, he told him. Snape said so, anyway. I didn't know that could happen. Why would your Patronus change? Lupin took his time chewing his turkey and swallowing before slowly saying, sometimes a great shock, an emotional upheaval. It looked big and it had 4 legs, said Harry, struck by a sudden thought and lowering his voice. Hey, it couldn't be. Then he cuts off. What is the new Patronus form? And why is that cut off? Why is this important?
I think it was a werewolf.
Wait, really?
A little bit, yeah.
What?
Why?
Why not?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh
large
at your
beast.
theories. But
And a little bit because early in the chapter, Mrs. Weasley was talking about Tonks and said, oh, we should ask Lupin if she's coming. And I thought, there it is. Tonks and Lupin.
Really? You think they're
And that's
together?
part of why Tonks is having a hard time, not only because of processing everything with Sirius, but also because her lover boy is off living with werewolves. So
why would her Patronus
well, because
turn
then
into
it
a
would
werewolf?
also make Lupin feel like, whoa, her Patronus turned into me? Huh. Well. So anyways, that's where that came from, which also would be a really weird thing. But
I don't know if it would make him feel that. There's a huge age gap between the two, too. So maybe it makes him feel
That's what
weird.
I thought too.
maybe it makes him feel weird.
Because she's about, people start saying 22, 23 maybe. And
Yeah.
he's 35.
So
Ish.
pretty big age
That's
gap.
actually not that bad.
No,
I thought it was gonna be like
isn't,
45
It's not
to
like where I'd be like, oh,
20.
don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
But
They're in different
guys get
stages of
to
life.
be older
So
than
do you
Still.
think they're in a relationship? Or they're
Um,
struggling through it or something like that?
You know, I'm not
Doesn't
saying
seem-
that I think they're in a relationship, but it's one of the things in the
I
back of
know.
my mind when I'm reading to see if there are more things I could pick up in that direction.
So then why would Tonks' Patronus have changed to a werewolf?
well, I think part of that happened because of just the
That had to be
all
an
of the
actual
stress.
animal.
But
A
I was
werewolf's
thinking-
not actually an animal. That's a created monster.
yeah, we don't know exactly. No, because they have the Phoenix, like Dumbledore has.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
but that's actually an animal.
Oh, you're saying because it's half human, it couldn't be a Patronus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know the extent of it.
Imagine you cast a Patronus on a human. Comes out of it.
That would be really
Everyone
funny.
has Voldemort to scare people.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's because all of her happy memories now that she summons involve Lupin, and in subconscious ways
What?
that
This is an
makes it a
interesting
werewolf.
theory.
But that wouldn't. That also sounds weird. Like, why
Go
would that
watch,
make your
you're probably
Patronus
right,
something?
'cause you haven't.
But
That's annoying.
So
maybe just because Tonks is a hot tamale, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
I felt that.
I feel like I want her to be with one of these other dudes. There's not a lot of romance going around,
I know.
even though in these chapters there is.
I didn't think of that at all. Mine was like, oh,
Yeah.
I wonder. It seemed like her animal. Sorry, were you still going?
No, I'm good.
It seemed like her Patronus was even bigger before than it is now, right?
Yeah.
And it still was big. Patronus.
And maybe that's why Snape was sassy about it and calling it weak, because maybe it was actually like,
Still bigger than his.
and the thing that he was scared of because he almost died to a werewolf. Come on, guys.
affecting my mind now.
Yeah. But that one would be interesting if Snape was like, oh, yeah, it looks weak because he's still a little
Afraid
bit
of
scared of
hers, yeah.
werewolves.
You're still in the werewolf thing. Huh?
Well, yeah, only because he almost got killed by a werewolf, you know? in theory.
Could it just
So-
be a wolf? Why does it have to be
Yeah,
a
I guess.
werewolf?
Well, it just said it was so big.
How would this explain? Like, is this why? How would this explain Tonks like depression then? Not that like you can't be depressed in a relationship, but
Oh,
is
what
she
if she turned into Sirius Black's dog? Version.
As the Patronus.
Sorry, you
But
were.
No, go ahead.
That's even.
your theories are more interesting than what I'm saying.
That is fascinating.
Because if she's mourning someone, which
Yeah.
whatever you just said made me think that maybe whatever you're mourning comes out in your Patronus.
This is what Harry thinks, right? This is what.
And then he doesn't like talking about Sirius, so that's why
Yeah.
he would stop.
Like Harry goes
don't
through
know.
thinking that she's depressed because
The
she's carrying
first-
around the guilt of Sirius Black,
Yeah.
and we even mentioned that too. Like if I just
And
cast
then
this spell,
and then it would make sense that Snape makes fun of it because
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, that looks weak, which he died.
But Danny, are you saying that they're in a relationship right now?
Well, that's what I was thinking because we were interpreting it as depression. But I was thinking, what if it wasn't depression specifically and was just missing him a lot and being scared for him because he's living with
Interesting, yeah.
a killer werewolf,
Yeah.
you know? That would be, if anyone was dating Lupin, they'd be real stressed
Yep.
when he's off on this mission.
Oh, yeah.
So I was thinking, what if there's another approach to this
The
Tom's
first,
feelings?
the first time I thought though, because they said it was such a big Patronus that I thought it was another stag that was like Harry's too.
Yeah.
Because it's big, four-legged beast. Yeah, yeah. And I think it could be, you know? We didn't get a lot of information.
We got nothing.
Just
so
from what Snape thinks, but that's also a little
that's
lame.
our
But
theories.
is it possible when people die, they become Patronuses?
No.
I'm like, I don't
not gonna be
know.
a
There's
thing.
ghosts, there's
'Cause
Patronus, there's an
They can become
Inferi, like
Yeah,
what
they
the
can
heck?
become a ghost or an Inferi, just like Jen's saying, but they can't become
Because it's
Patronus.
all in her head. The Patronus is all coming from her own happy memories, etc. Is it memories of Sirius? Could it be the big black dog? Is that what Harry's going to say? Hey, it couldn't be. So whatever.
Well, it's his
just occurred to
animagus,
Harry.
but I wonder what was his, because they turn into these animals, but their Patronus could be something different, right?
Yeah. Animagus is different from Patronus for sure. They I guess potentially could become the same thing, but I think that's a little rare. There's only 11 registered Animagus, so I'm sure it'd be interesting to see. Like, I think McGonagall actually, she's a cat, and I think her Animagus form is a cat as well, or her Patronus is a cat as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm gonna look
And
this
I
up.
didn't think it was 11. I thought it was even less.
Yeah,
Or maybe they expanded now that there are so many sneaky ones.
yeah. McGonagall's Patronus is a cat, and she also turns into a cat. So I'm sure it might be the same thing for some people.
Interesting.
What do you think of Skimmy's proposal to Harry? What do you think just of him in general?
I was like, who's Skinny?
We'll call him
Scrimmy.
Scrimmy.
Scrimmy. There we go.
Scrimmer.
I was gonna say a skimmer before.
I like that. The skimmer.
Wait, what was your question?
What do you think of his proposal to Harry? Will you marry me?
I feel like Harry did a good job,
Mm.
and I didn't like. It was just sneaky, and I didn't like. It.
Yeah. I was a little not annoyed at Harry, but just like it would have been nice to hear him out a little bit more. But when Harry said what he
Oh.
said, I was like, yeah, you go, Harry.
It felt.
But maybe
thought
I
Harry
wouldn't have
did such
reacted
a
that
good
way,
job.
but like when he did, I was like, oh yeah, nice. Because it did feel very noble. But I just didn't like that they were coming to him without Dumbledore. It felt sneaky. And Harry picked up on that, turning him into a mascot. But like an opportunity to go to the ministry and be involved and maybe like influence things.
But not in the
I
way
don't
that you should be. Scrimgeour,
Yeah.
again, Scrimgeour, this is the line that I think summed it up. I don't want to be used, said Harry.
Yes.
And rather than saying, Scrimgeour saying, we're not going to use you. We just want you around for some moral support. He says, some would say it's your duty to be used by the ministry.
Ugh.
I'm like, that was gross. That was
That
disgusting.
was such a slimy.
I know.
Ugh.
That makes you like Scrimgeour was likable up until this point. And then as soon as he said that, I was like,
Yep. That's
I was
what did it.
so
You're right.
proud of Harry. I thought he actually was
Yeah.
thinking through
Yeah.
Mhm.
before like reacting
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
He even mentions that Scrimgeour was the one that showed his anger quicker than Harry. Harry was able to hold his cards
Oh,
back
yeah.
a little quicker
Mm.
or a little easier.
Well, that's because he didn't want it as
Yeah.
badly,
Yeah.
too. When you want something bad.
Yeah.
And Scrimgeour could have handled this so much different. Like, him and Fudge are the same, but opposites at the same time. Like, Harry, you mentioned this. They're both politicians. One is denying it, but one is doing stuff, but not the right stuff.
Is this what Fudge was referring to in the beginning of the book? When he, because didn't he say
Yeah.
something like
Mhm.
maybe Scrim?
Oh, like
Scrimmy
where he was writing to Dumbledore?
Yeah.
will do a better job.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was in the beginning. He was like, Scrimgeour just keeps, or Scrimgeour was writing to him a ton, and Fudge was like, "Oh, good luck with that. I didn't have any luck with it." But this was what he was writing to him.
Wow,
about
didn't even
Harry.
connect that. Nice.
Okay.
But did this catch you off guard? This was, again, this is another great Harry line for me. You don't care whether I live or die, but you do care that I help you convince everyone you're winning the war against Voldemort. I haven't forgotten, Minister. He raised his right fist. There, shining white on the back of his cold hands, were the scars which Dolores Umbridge had forced him to carve into his own flesh. I must not tell lies. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
What do you think about Umbridge still working at the freaking Ministry
I
of Magic?
cannot believe it after all this.
She needs to
Yeah.
be in prison.
Ridiculous.
That probably just made it validate
Ugh.
his decision
Yep.
even more.
Yep, exactly. He's like, you have that woman working there? And they're still standing up for Stan in a weird way. I don't
I know.
fully
I'm just like,
understand,
Harry's
but-
like making some big deal out of this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's more important stuff, but
Yep.
okay.
And then here's just the last line that I just love, and then we'll wrap up. He goes, well, it is clear to me that he has done a very good job on you, said Scrimgeour, his eyes cold and hard beneath his wire-rimmed glasses. Dumbledore's man through and through, aren't you, Potter? Yeah, I am, said Harry. Glad we straightened that out. I feel like this, again, we talked about Harry's maturity in this book, especially.
Mhm.
I think this is one of his most mature moments that he's ever had in the entire series right here. Just how he's able to talk to an adult and just like navigate through this conversation. He knows what side he's on. Not to his own fault. He's not doing this blindly. He kind of knows what he's up against. But he just knows what ought to be done. Oh, I love Harry in this moment. Anything else in this chapter? We're all looking at Danny.
No, that was it.
You have such a serious face.
I know.
Well, I was just wondering why they had to draw this line. Like, again, the end of the last book felt like a perfect opportunity to unite against Voldemort. And this conversation just built up that wall between the Ministry and Dumbledore and Harry and Hogwarts. And it's just like, man, guys, the Sorting Hat is saying your houses you need to unite. Well, this is just a large scale of that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to unite if you're going to fight the Dark Lord. So there's got to be a way to bring these people together. And this was a step in the wrong direction. So stinks. Also, I'm just trying to decide if this Christmas I can put a little grumpy
gnome?
gremlin on the top of my tree. They
Your
must make
tree?
that, right? On Amazon, you could just get yourself a gnome and throw it up there with
Boy.
a tutu and everything.
That
I
was
mean,
wild.
you
Harry sees
have to
this.
run
Harry,
decisions by people now.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
you're gonna have to run that by somebody this year.
So true.
when Harry was talking to Scrimmy, he noticed the skid marks in the snow for where he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
wrestling the gnome to put
Mhm.
him on the tree. They spray painted this thing. Poor little garden gnome. These are good chapters though, and the next ones are good too. It just keeps on getting better from this point on, guys. But let's go over who wins your hot tamale, who wins the house cup, and what is your favorite moment from these chapters?
I liked Harry's reaction to Skimmy or whatever we want to call him, standing up for
Such a good
himself. I
Mhm.
feel like I know that we just talked about it. It's a little obvious. Hot tamale is still Jenny, even though she was not nice.
She was a little nice. She stood up for
Luna, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
cute.
And then what was it? House Cub.
Mm-hmm.
I think Harry. I don't always like giving it to him, but he's been like maturing and absorbing information and not lashing out or quick to act. I don't know what the word is.
Yep.
Especially and then finding the information from Snape, putting on his cloak.
He was quick to act then. I was a little annoyed at him. I'm like, what if it's a trap? They're luring you away.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Because both of them know that he has an invisibility cloak.
And they know that he will follow anyone if there's a chance of it being juicy.
Oh, that's a
But
good
I'm glad
point.
it wasn't a trap.
It was not. Okay.
Now Danny can talk.
Favorite moment was, I think, when he was listening in on... Well, no, that was a good moment. I think, honestly, the Burrow moment, just the Christmas time, it actually felt really cozy compared to some of the other Christmases in like book 2 or 3, where it felt so quick. But this actually felt cozy and good. I love that. Hot tamale, I'm going to give it to Ron. Ron's getting spicy, you know?
Yeah.
He's figuring out his own emotions.
How to snark.
Love and
Love
lust and everything in between. Snogging all day. And then House Cup's got to be Harry.
Yep.
He's growing, maturing. Yeah. He's crushing it.
My favorite moment was obviously Christmas time while they were eating lunch. Hot tamale, I couldn't. As a joke, I wanted to give it to the gnome on top of the tree. No, I was gonna give it to Ron too. He's getting his practice in.
Ron.
And House Cup is Harry. I mean, my other favorite moment was the whole conversation he had with Scrimmy. Because, like you were saying, such maturity. I was like, yes, it felt good.
It really did. And my hot tamale, this was a tough one because I didn't want to give it to Ginny, even though she's a hot tamale. I didn't want to give it to
always
Hermione,
give it to-
even though she might be
I almost
legitimately the biggest hot tamale.
Yep.
ever.
Very
I don't want to give it
spicy.
to Ron either because Ron's being a bimbo.
Mean, yep.
So I'm going to give it to the Muggle girl.
Whoa,
Fred and George are going to woo because if Fred and George, these two hot tamales, are going to woo you, you got something going for you. You know?
Absolutely.
So this Muggle girl, you're getting both of these brothers going after you. So hot tamale,
Respect.
the Muggle girl, in the paper shop.
Nice.
My house cup, I think, is Harry. I think Harry is just great, which is a unanimous one. I think we all voted Harry in this one, which he just was fantastic in these chapters.
Yeah, it was good to see.
And then this was a tough one for me to pick. I'm picking 3 moments in these 3 chapters because I love these chapters so much. But I love Ron's moment of confidence. And then even though he was just a complete jerk at the end toward Hermione when he realized that it was just, Hermione said it was all because of luck, liquid luck. I love Ron's moment of victory there where he's like, even though he's kind of a little arrogant, conducting the crowd when they're doing music. I'm like, don't get to that point, but I love that he had a good moment there where he realizes that he's a good Quidditch player. I also just loved the Slug Club dinner. I just thought that was quaint and kind of nice. I would love to go to one. Like, I would rather go to that than like a big like a Yule Ball. I'd rather go like a smaller little thing where you can talk to people.
Yep.
I don't care that much about fame, but it would be kind of cool to just talk to people, like talk to that vampire Sanguini or talk to the Weird Sisters. Like, I mean, I'm obsessed with just what people do in their normal life and like how they're good at something. So like, Weird Sisters, tell me how you make music. Like, what are your lyrics mean or something like that? Like fun little questions. And then I just love the end as well. You guys all mentioned that, but Harry's maturity there is pretty unmatched. I think he's taken so many strides, and you go through phases, but I think he's becoming an extremely likable character again, at least for me this read around. So those are mine.
I had one more favorite moment.
Oh, yes.
When Harry asked Luna to go to the party with him.
That was so cute.
Oh, that was
That like
love
melted
that.
my heart.
And
I
another one
forgot
of my
about
favorites
that.
is when Ginny tells Harry later Luna is so excited
Oh,
about
I
it.
know.
Yes.
That
Like,
was so sweet.
That was I love that so much.
Yeah.
That was the best. We'll end on that. So thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Until next time. Yeah, Danny, I'm excited for when you rewatch all these podcasts live to see what everyone thinks of your theories. It's so fun for you. Danny, ask the apologist. I want a reaction podcast for revisiting the chats. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to post yourself in the corner, and then that'll be your second reaction to the chats.
That's a good idea.
Good.
That'll be on Patreon or something.
I know, yeah, exclusive web exclusives.